Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another Friday night live stream. My name is Ron Henry. I am your humble host, and again, it's always all about you. So if you've never been here before, you've never actually been part of the lawn care live Q&A, it's pretty simple. You simply drop your questions down in the chat, and I take them in the order they come in. Again, if this is your first time, welcome. The crowd that hangs out, the regulars, are pretty welcoming, pretty friendly. So definitely be sure to drop any questions you have down below, and we'll do our best to answer them. Sometimes I have the answers, sometimes I don't. But either way, we have a great time talking about turf care. So it's a fun time, even though we're in the heat of dormancy, or it's the center of dormancy for most warm season grass, and for other parts of the country starting to go into dormancy. But still, it's so great to hang out just before Christmas and talk about grass and perhaps winter weeds and your plans also for next season. So the theme for tonight is around winter weeds. I've been getting some questions from via email from certain viewers around like some weed issues that they're having in their lawn and how to treat them. So if you have any questions in that space, feel free to drop them in the chat. If you don't have questions about that or something else related to lawn care, feel free to do that as well too. But yeah, that's what we are primarily trying to focus on tonight, and we'll see how that goes. I gotta tell you guys, this week has been an interesting week and a bit of a stressful week to be in the field of information security. If you guys don't know, there's this really nasty vulnerability that is easily exploitable. It's creating havoc and is going to create even more havoc over the internet over the next coming weeks here. So yeah, let's just say that this week has been a lot more stressful than weeks past. So all par for the course, right? All par for the course. All right, so let's see who we have in the show tonight. All right, so we got Robert Rainey in the house saying, good evening, everyone. What's going on, Robert? Hopefully you're doing well, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out. We got Alex B. What's going on, Alex? Mr. Lawn Renovation, Mr. Cool Season Lawn Renovation. Thanks for taking some time out of your Friday evening to come hang out. And his first comment is kind of around weed control. He's talking about pre-emergent and post-emergent. He says, looking forward to being able to use pre- and post-emergence again. Definitely saw some sprouting weeds from all the new seed watering this fall. Didn't want to use anything on such new grass going into winter. Yeah, and that's actually pretty smart, Alex. I mean, here's the thing: you're someone that's probably used to not having a lot of weeds in your lawn. You're used to like just having awesome looking turf, and unfortunately, whenever we take on a renovation project, you have to kind of give that up for a while, right? You have to give that up for 6 months or so for warm season grass, and really for cool season grass, you're really trying to be super conservative. You want to keep pre-emergent off the lawn for up to a year, right? So I think you're making the right decision by not putting down definitely pre-emergent, depending on how strong the new grass that you've put in is grown in. Post-emergent could be something you could try. You could try some tenacity, maybe go with a lower rate on it and see if that helps. Really just comes down to how badly the weeds are bugging you, how much it irritates you to see what's going on in your lawn. So, post-emergent, at this point, because we've been talking for a while, could be doable, but pre-emergent, you're on the right track by staying away from that. So kind of your call. It just really comes down to how much it irritates you, how much you're seeing weeds in your lawn bothering you. I imagine even being up north, I think you're in Connecticut or somewhere in the tri-state area. It's only a few more weeks to a month before really it all shuts down anyway, right? So it might just be best to wait till spring if you can hold off on doing that. Yeah, and Alex was saying, yeah, overall the grass, I asked about how the grass was doing. He said overall it came in nicely, tempted to use tenacity, but opted not to with the winter dormancy not that far off at the time. So that makes a lot of sense. And speaking on the subject of post-emergent herbicides, so I've been doing some digging around as far as for warm season grass, common post-emergent herbicides that can work well, and as far as for cool season grass, ones that can work well. And really, looking at the label, like as far as for warm season, Celsius is like the go-to, right? It's a little bit more expensive, but as far as the one that has great coverage, Celsius is the one to use. But really, if you look at the label on it, for ideal performance, it recommends soil temps of like 65 degrees or higher. Granted, it is a foliar application, but really it does better with warmer weather when the weeds are actively growing. The thing is, this time of year, most of you guys are dealing with weeds like POA in your Bermuda lawns anyway, with like POA, and a herbicide like Certainty could be something you could use again if it really is irritating you. If it were me, I really wouldn't bother with it. But if you really got to put something down, certainty, something that could work, assuming that, again, you're not dealing with freezing temps, and then your climate is like what we're having here in Georgia, where you may have a day or two where it gets down super cold, but then we're back up in the 40s and 50s. So it really depends on you and what you're going for. Tenacity, I didn't really see any temperature restrictions on it, but again, if it were me, I just wait till spring, because I mean most lawns are about to go night here soon anyway. So I wouldn't really force the issue. All right, next up we got Patrick in Texas. He's saying, "Are we doing this?" We are doing this, Patrick. We're definitely doing this. It's Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. You know what that means? Lawn care Q&A, man. We are doing this. Might be a shorter chat tonight, depending on how many people show up, because I know everyone's getting ready for the holiday, getting ready for Christmas, to go and hang out and hopefully get to spend time with loved ones and just take some time off. If you're in information security, probably not so much, but if you're not in the field, I'm sure this is a nice time of year for everyone to wind down and relax and have a great time. Guys, definitely definitely also make sure we get those likes up. I know we're only a few minutes in, but it definitely helps the channel. It's a free way to support the channel. And I appreciate the support. So if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button ever so gently, I would really appreciate it. All right. So that heartfelt fashion in the house. It's been a while since you've been around. You're right. It's been a minute, but I'm here. How have you been, Ron? I've been doing well. I cannot complain. It's been a hectic past week with some vulnerabilities that are causing a lot of problems over the internet, and just really looking at the environments that I and the team support, and try and do our best to make sure everything is patched and mitigated. So yeah, we're staying busy. It's been but yeah, overall it's fun, right? It's been a fun time here. Looking forward to some downtime here soon, hopefully. But yeah, glad that you took some time to hang out this evening. Come hang out and hopefully have some tough questions, not too hard, but some fun questions about turf care. So, all right, next up we got Daryl. Daryl, what's going on, man? Hopefully you're doing okay. Hopefully, let's see, Daryl. I wonder whose grass is more dormant at this point. You guys have been seeing in the stories that I've still got a patch of green that's holding on, and I know your grass does really well too. So it'd be interesting to see between you and me whose lawn is still holding on to green this late in the season. Got a couple of super chats. Let me go down and handle those. Got to make sure we pay the bills around here and show some love to the folks contributing to the channel. Thank you so much, Travis. I really appreciate you.
Super chat received.
Happy holidays to you, Ron, and the rest of the Golf Course Lawn Squad. Thanks for the outstanding content, sir. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being a viewer, for watching, for hanging out, and supporting the channel. I got a piece of content out past Monday on things to do during wintertime. And I started talking about Essential G as far as using granular carbon as something you can do really as long as the ground is not frozen, kind of scratch that itch to apply something into your lawn. So hopefully you guys found that interesting, because there's not a ton to do this season around this time of year that, how can we say, that doesn't have the potential to cause more problems later on in the spring than just working on improving soil quality overall. So I really appreciate it, Travis. Thanks so much for the super chat. We got one more here from Kevin D. Jones. Kevin D. Jones.
Super chat received.
Thanks so much, Kevin. I really appreciate the support. I appreciate you being a regular on the channel and hanging out, guys. On the topic of the channel, like this year, I didn't actually post the view count, but this year we did something like 2.2 million views, which again, for my channel is still relatively small, but wanted to take the time to really give you guys a special, to thank you guys so much for all the love and support. I am truly humbled by the fact that you guys would take the time to watch my content, and that you come on the live streams, and that the channel is growing and doing really well. So hopefully 2022 does even better. But just want to take the time to really thank you guys for taking some time out of your day and evening to watch the content. I know there's tons of options on YouTube, so I do appreciate you guys choose to spend a little bit of your time with me. All right, next up, we got Mr. Thomas Hanan in the house. He has a question about T-Jet nozzles. He says, hello, I am looking for a T-Jet fan nozzle that only has a 20-degree fan for spot spraying herbicides, or what nozzle do you recommend for spot spraying herbicides? Thanks. Great question, Thomas. So that's a good question. I'm not sure if T-Jet even makes a 20-degree nozzle. They might, but it's not one of the more common ones that are used for spraying, for doing spot spraying work on lawns. Most people tend to go for a 110 degree nozzle. So let me show you here. I've got a video that I did a couple of months ago that actually speaks about this very topic on nozzle selection. So I will put that in the chat for you so you can check that out. So let me see, at Thomas. So this video talks about the nozzles, but if you just want the answer, you're like, hey, I don't want to watch the content, I just wonder which one to use. There's a 110 degree nozzle from T-Jet that works really well. There's two that I'm gonna link here in the chat for you. There's the air induction tip. The air induction tip is really more for soil application. So the droplet size is a little bit larger. So the idea is that it gets down past the leaves, past the canopy, and down into the soil. And then you have the foliar application tip, which it produces a really, really fine mist. And that's very good for foliar apps. If you're trying to do spot spraying, that's the one that I would recommend going with. So I'll put both those in the chat here for you now. And if you want to see how I use them, want to see a short video talking about the benefits and like everything you'll need as far as any fittings, depending on which sprayer you have, that's all that video that I also linked as well. Depending on the sprayer you have, you may not need any kind of an adapter, but if you have the, let's see, if you have the Yard Mastery sprayer or the Flow Zone sprayers, which have that wand, the stainless or the brass wand fitting, you're going to need an adapter to be able to use the T-Jet nozzles. And it's all in that video. There's links all in the description for it, but you should be all set based on that. So great question. Hopefully that does the trick for you. The 110 degree tip should work really well. All you'll need is just a, all you just need if you're trying to narrow it is just hold it a little bit lower, right? So 110 degree, even though it sounds pretty wide, it's not as wide as you might think. Because the idea here too is this, right? If you went with a really narrow tip, a 20 degree tip, it sounds like that would be good for spot spraying. But like say you're dealing with, I don't know, let's say like this Miramichi green hat is a weed, right? Like a patch of weeds. So two of these is like a patch of weed or nutsedge that we're dealing with, right? Like a 20 degree tip, unless you're holding it fairly high up, it's not going to be able to get good coverage in one pass. So really 110 degrees better because you'll be able to maintain a reasonable height, 12, 18 inches above what you're trying to treat, make a single pass, and that's going to get you good coverage on the leaf. Whereas if you had a really narrow spray pattern, what might happen is, if we use this as an example, you might hit like here, and you may have to make another pass to hit here. And what that tends to cause is uneven application. You can have like some hot spots where you can cause issues. So 110 degree is really a good one to go with. If you're just trying to deal with a smaller weed, just simply hold it a little bit closer to it. But that is the sweet spot. So again, I've got links in the chat there for you to take a look at, and take a look at that video. And I think you'll find that it's going to do the trick for you. So great question. Great question. It's good stuff, man. It's a great tip. I really like both those T-Jet nozzles. All right, next up we got Heartfelt Fashion is a question about soil testing, a topic near and dear to my heart, where they say, I got my soil test from your online store. When I collected the samples, I only had about an inch of dark soil. The rest was compacted clay. How to fix that? It's going to take time. So if I guess what I'm hearing is that you got, let me get the probe here, is that you got a full sample, like you didn't, so you got like a complete sample, right? So it was like this entire cavity here was full, but only, I guess the upper, you said half inch or so of it was dark soil, the rest of it was clay. That's not uncommon if you have clay soil. You know, doing top dressing or doing multiple top dressings over time, doing a sand soil mix will help increase that. And just overall, and just doing things to improve the quality of your soil, like biochar and compost applications, those will help. So don't worry about it. The analysis is still going to work just fine. Just make sure you get samples from various parts of your lawn. I like to do along my size 12 samples or so, like a bunch in the back and 4 or 5 in the front. And then I mix them all up, make sure that it's just one homogeneous mixture, and then get a couple of scoops of that, throw it in the sample container, the ion exchange resin, the deionized water with the ion exchange resin in it, and send it out, and you'll get your results back. So just because most of your soil is clay is not going to negate your results. I wouldn't just worry about that at all. No issues with that whatsoever as far as getting an accurate result from from your soil test. Great question. Again, the big thing is as long as you got like a good core, like if you only got like a half inch of soil, we want to get this down a little bit more and make sure we're getting, a larger, a deeper pearl. 4 inches or more is ideal. But yeah, it sounds like that's what happened in your case, so I wouldn't sweat it. Send them out, and if you need any help with looking at the results or interpreting the results, or looking for ideas in the springtime as far as treating and improving or amending the soil based on the results, feel free to drop me an email. My email address is ron@golfcourslawn.com. Send me an email there, and I will do my best to help you out. Great question. Good job. Good job getting the soil test done. I like it. Good job. Warms my heart when people test their soil. All right, next up we got Lindrick Butler in the house. He's saying, "What's up, peeps?" Not too much, man. Lindrick, hopefully you're doing all right, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out. We got VMH, Mr. Crabgrass Dominator 2021. Hopefully you're doing well, VMH. Thanks for coming to hang out. All right, and next up we have Heartfelt Fashion again with another question about scalping. And I think this is a case of doing it wrong. Here the question is, tell me if I'm wrong, but my neighbor just scalped his lawn 2 times this month. You should scalp earlier before December and after winter, right? It can harm your roots by doing it now. Yes, I'm not sure what kind of grass your neighbor has, but typically December is not the time of year to scalp your lawn, right? If you're going to do it for warm season grass, the spring is when we tend to go do that type of thing. So March timeframe is when I normally do my scalp. I would not scalp your lawn now. I'm not sure what they're trying to do by doing that, because to your point, like if you're taking away all the grass, like you're taking it down to the dirt, I'm not sure how much of a scalp they're doing, but if they're cutting the grass really, really low, you're removing that insulation that can help protect the roots and help protect the root system. So again, without seeing what they did, it's hard to say what their thought process was. But you are correct that December is not the time typically to scalp a lawn. It's typically not the ideal time. For warm season grass, it's going to be the spring. And for cool season grass, I don't even know if cool season guys really do scalping like we do with Zoysia and Bermuda lawns. I don't think it's quite as common for cool season turf as it is for warm season. But in either case, December is not the time when I would be doing that. But again, maybe they're just trying something new, or they're experimenting. So yes, you are correct. Do not scalp your lawn this time of year. Bad idea. Bad idea. Thank you for the question. All right, next up we got Shelby Amos in the house. She says, Ron, I'm live from the Rock here in Fort Worth, Texas. I got Caravan G, but when do I need to throw it down? That's a great question, Shelby. So there's a couple of trains of thought on this, okay? So if you're using Caravan G as a preventative, right? So you don't really have any fungus issues, and you want to apply it at the ideal time to prevent fungus problems. The May, June timeframe is the ideal time for that. But now, if you're applying Caravan G because you're looking for an insecticide, and you're trying to optimize to say, yeah, I want to get my insecticide down to prevent grubs, to just to get a good insecticide application to where later on in the season, I'm not going to be dealing with armyworms and other insects that can damage the turf. Really, March timeframe is the best time to do that. So it just depends. If you've not had an issue in the past with grubs in your lawn or armyworms, waiting till May is a good strategy because it's going to allow you to get more out of the fungicide. But if you've dealt with insect problems in the past, then doing it a bit earlier in the season is what I would opt for. So either way will work. If you can wait till May, then that would be ideal. But if you've dealt with insect problems in the past and you want to prevent or get ahead of it, like late March time frame is a good option as well. We're talking about a month here, so it's not a make or break deal. But for the fungicide, you get more out of it by delaying the application into May, because you get about 28 days of coverage out of fungicide. So it's something to keep in mind. I mean, another option too, right, is you could it really depends. You could, if you're looking at it from an insecticide perspective, you could apply Caravan G in March. And then if you wanted to put down a fungicide as a preventative, then you could do something like Headway in the May-June timeframe, and then that kind of gets you coverage in the best of both worlds, right? You've got March all through April. You got your insecticide down, so you're good for the season. And also, if in the rare event that you're starting to have fungus problems earlier in the season, Caravan is going to take care of that. And then if you want to get a fungicide application down to prior to summer, then the May-June timeframe, again, Headway is what I would go with if your budget permits, because it's a superior product. You get 2 active ingredients in Headway G. So just something to consider. Either way will work well, but March at the earliest, May, June, if you can hang out that long. Great question. Appreciate it. All right, next up we got Grasshopper Lawn Care from Georgia is in the house. What's going on, Grasshopper Lawn Care? Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. And then next up we got Lois H. What's going on, Lois? Thanks for coming to hang out. Hopefully you got all your leaves under control. I know you sent me some pictures. You had like a serious leaf cleanup job going on there. So hopefully you're able to take care of that. And at this point of the year, you're just relaxing and you got your Christmas shopping done, and you're just hanging out and talking, watching the live stream and just relaxing, right? Hopefully you don't have to get out this weekend and do a whole lot more work. We also got Grace Ortiz in the house. What's going on, Grace? Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream as always. And then C Math. He says, woot woot, last day of work. Lucky you. Lucky you. Returning until January. Enjoying the traffic on the 101. Have what? Have at the St. Augustine. Give me a homework, Ron. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the question is. You're saying you have at the St. Aug and give you homework. I mean, we actually just listening on your way home. We'll just chat and hopefully there'll be some nugget of knowledge that you'll get out of it. But I don't really have anything for your St. Aug. I think you don't really have issues, right? There's not any problems that I know about, or at least that you've told me about that we need to address. So yeah, we'll see. But I appreciate that I am what you choose to listen to on your way home while fighting traffic on the 101. All right, Shelby Amos says, oh yeah, talk to us about Fungicide herbicide. Seems to be great for keeping Bermuda out of flower beds. Here's the thing. I have never used Fungicide personally. I have a couple of viewers that have used it, and they've gotten good results. It's to say as far as keeping Bermuda out of flower beds, it can help suppress it. But remember, Bermuda is really, really hard to kill. It would take multiple applications of Fungicide to really knock back Bermuda to where it falls into the controlled category. But it's likely that it's going to be something you're going to continuously have to deal with. Again, Bermuda is super, super tenacious. It's really hard to get rid of. And again, the people the two people that I have recommended Fungicide to that have tried it have had good results. I don't know that I would invest in it really for flower beds. If it were me, I would just do something around like putting some kind of a barrier, some kind of a physical barrier between your lawn and the flower beds as a mean of keeping the Bermuda from encroaching in. So some kind of a barrier that actually goes down beneath the surface. Like that is what I would do versus having to rely on herbicide all the time to try and keep Bermuda out of the flower beds. That would be my way of going about it. Hopefully that helps. And again, Fungicide is not inexpensive, so that's another reason why. And it's fairly niche. It's a fairly niche product. So if you want to try it. But it's the application there. You have to really read the label like 2 to 3 times because the application rates vary between spot spraying and blanket spraying. I don't even know if there is guidance around spraying beds. I don't recall that because everyone that I've recommended to that's been using it have been trying to use it to treat or to control Bermuda within their lawn, not so much in a bed. So I don't know what kind of interactions, if any, it would have with your shrubs or anything like that. But just check the label and see if it's going to be a fit for what you're trying to do. Okay, How Fashion is saying it is 71 degrees here in Charlotte. Really makes me miss mowing. Yeah, I'm not sure what the temperatures were in Georgia here today, but it was. It's not. I don't know. It was quite 71, but it's definitely not cold. It's definitely not super cold this time of year, or not super cold right now. I actually got out and I mowed. When did I mow? I mowed last weekend, and you could have been out today without a jacket or anything like that. We got a little bit of rain, but it hasn't been crazy cold. So hopefully it holds out. In Georgia we have to get our 1 to 2 days of snow at some point in the season. We'll see if we get through December without snow. It'll be funny. You get to see how people in Georgia cannot drive on snow were that to happen. So I'm sure in Charlotte you guys probably do a better job with it than we do. All right, Ben Raham is up saying Merry Christmas, Ron. Merry Christmas, Ben. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you've got all your Christmas shopping done. You're not one of those last minute guys or gals trying to get out there and brave the mall or whatever else. These days, with all the online, everything being so easily available online, it's almost like actually having to go to the mall isn't really as necessary as it used to be in years past, right? So I appreciate it, sir. Merry Christmas to you too. Hopefully you're going to have a fun and safe holiday season. Also from Jose, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Jose, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thanks again. And next up, we got Ogsan in the house. He says, happy holidays, everyone. Thanks for 2021, Ron. Friday nights have been epic. No questions, just enjoying everything you're talking about. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I know this time of year it really, really slows down, but you guys like it, guys. You guys still want to come and show up. So if you guys are going to show up, I'll show up, right? So I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support over 2021. The channel has definitely grown much more than I expected, and I'll just gonna keep going, and we'll see how it does in 2021, or 2022. As we move upward and onward. So thanks so much for the support, Oxan. I really do appreciate it. Next up, we got Turtles Turf Fire Lawn. It's like the best name ever for like a lawn care business. Like every time I see your name, it reminds me of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know why, but it just does. But he says, hello all, good to see you back, Ron. Thanks for that. Thanks for coming and hang out in the live stream. No worries. I appreciate you hanging out. And Dalvin, what's going on, Dalvin? Hopefully you're doing well, sir. Hopefully you're doing well. All right, we have a question now from Jose Amante about coastal. All right, so he says, question about coastal herbicide, Texas Bermuda. I have an outbreak of Poanua. From what I've read, it's the best for both post and pre. It's driving me crazy, so I'm going to nuke it somehow. Yeah, I mean, if you are looking for if you haven't put down pre-emergent, if you've not done that in September, and you're just looking for a way to control POA, coastal is an awesome option. I mean, it's got prodiamine as your pre-emergent, and then you have simazine and imazaquin, both of which are effective against POA and a few other cool season weeds. So yeah, absolutely, I would definitely go for that. If you've not seen, I think I've got a video. I know I've got a video on coastal. If you've not seen that, I will. I'll get that here in the chat for you, Jose. I'll get that, and then let's see here at Jose Mate. There you go. That's the video for coastal. And then as far as an actual link for said product, assuming you don't already have it, I'll get you that here in the chat as well. And again, it's a super easy product to apply. As far as the rate, if memory serves me, it's like 1.48 ounces, so just under 1.5 ounces per 1,000 square feet when mixed with 1 gallon of water. Double check the label, but I think that's right from just what I remember from preparing for the video. So yeah, but yeah, that's for what you're dealing with. That's going to be the ticket. So applying coastal should knock out the POA, and will also prevent it from being an issue, into the spring. So it is what I would go with. No a surfactant with that. Again, literally just mix it with water. Use a sprayer or a spray tip with a larger droplet size, like one of the air induction tips from T-Jet will work. Or I don't have another one here handy, the one to be able to show you on. Actually, yeah, I do. Yeah, like or something like this, like a tip. One of these guys, like these guys will work well for applying pre-emergent. It has a really large droplet size, which is what you want. So yes, absolutely give that a shot. Let me know if you have how it works out for you if it does well. All right. So next up we got Kevin D saying Merry Christmas, Ron. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much, Kevin. Merry Christmas. I appreciate all the love and support. Robert Wallace says, hi Ron, happy holidays to you. Thanks so much, Robert. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for that. Are you guys getting anything cool for Christmas? Are you guys getting anything? I'm sure you're getting cool stuff. Either you're getting cool stuff or you're buying cool stuff. But I guess, are any of you guys getting anything related to your lawn for Christmas? That'd be interesting to find out if you're like buying a gift for yourself or if a loved one is buying you something that you can use on your lawn. So it'd be cool to find out what you guys have got going on for the holidays. Thin Cup's back. He says, stopping by to say hi, just pumping out some rib roast. Happy Friday, y'all. Rib roast, man. Here's the thing. Anytime you guys start talking about food, I'm going to have to start requesting pictures ahead of time so we can see what you guys are dealing with. I know LG is, I'm sure LG's in the house. I haven't seen him in the chat as yet tonight. He might pop in here a little bit later, but LG's really big about, grilling and that kind of thing. So if you guys are if you guys are grill masters, feel free to send pictures, especially this time of year. There's not like any really cool lawns to look at. So, send pictures and I'll share them on the live stream if you guys want. It'd be kind of cool. All right. Ben is back. He says, for the parcel handling folks, It is and has been go time. Glad the lawn is mostly dormant. However, the first season seeded Bermuda is impressively green. That's crazy. So your lawn is still green too? I mean, when you say impressively green, Ben, you mean certain parts of the Bermuda are green, or are you saying the entire lawn is still looking awesome? Because if it is, I'd want to know like what part of the country you're in. I imagine maybe like South Texas or South Florida, like below I-4 perhaps. But if you're in Georgia, it's most of your lawn should not be green this time of year. If it is, kudos to you. That's a pretty impressive accomplishment. All right. Heartfelt Fashion is back. He says, hey, Ron, I'm loving the new camera angle. Where did you get those red noise cancellation squares? Oh, thank you. So so you guys are enjoying it. Trying to, again, take the production value up a little bit for the content. So I got my B cam here. It's like normally my photo camera. So figure I'd set it up. As far as these, you can get these on Amazon. You can these are like, just look up like noise cancellation foam, and you could get them on Amazon. Because like, I have hardwood floors in here and there's not like carpet or anything else. I added this and it made a noticeable difference in the sound as far as echoing, and also like the sound recorder, the audio interface that I use that has some noise cancellation. But yeah, this definitely makes a difference if you care about good audio, which I do. So yeah, definitely something to invest in. And they're not super expensive. You can buy like an entire, like, how do they come? They come in like in sheets, and you can just cut them to the size you want, and you're good to go. So yeah, on Amazon, super cheap, and they work well. And then just get some double-sided tape to stick them to the wall, and away you go. I appreciate it. Thank you for noticing the camera angle. See, I'm trying to take it up for you guys because you guys are worth the extra effort. So I'm glad you guys are noticing the little extra work that I'm putting into improving the content, improving the live stream for you guys. So. Great stuff. Okay, next up we have Robert Rainey in the house. He says, so to piggyback off of last week, I have Celsius Certainty Surfactant with blue dye. Got a bit of everything. I haven't heard about the surfactant yet, but I'm sure that's in there too. This is the only weed is burrweed. Do I spot spray or spray the entire space? I would spot spray, man. Here's the thing. I am not a fan of blanketing a lawn with herbicide unless you are like doing a renovation, or you're just trying to take a lawn that was previously not taken care of, like it was previously not treated, and you're trying to get ahead of it. I'm not a fan of just like smacking the entire lawn with herbicide. So I would bias more towards spot spraying. And I think this is going to be a better route. Now, I don't know how bad the burrweed is that you're dealing with. If it's all throughout the entire lawn, then blanketing the entire lawn makes sense. But if it's only in a few areas, if it's only got a few clusters, I would take that route more so than blanketing the entire lawn, Robert. And out of the things you listed there, Celsius, again, from looking at the label, you want temps to be actually a little bit higher than they are to get the most out of Celsius. It's not like it's not going to work. It's just going to be a lot slower acting, and the results are not going to be as good if compared to if you've done it like in early summer, right? But if you want to give it a shot and see, by all means, go for it. Certainty, again, as I was saying earlier, I didn't see any temperature restrictions really around Certainty, other than just storage. Like they say, you can store it. I think with the label say something like -20 degrees, you can store it. There's no issues with that. But as far as like temps around application, I didn't see a whole lot on that. So again, if you want to give it a go, sure, why not? Just make sure you also add a non-ionic surfactant along with what you're using there. So just something to keep in mind, and just go into it knowing that if it does work, it's likely going to be slower, but it's a fun experiment. It's not gonna hurt anything. Just make sure you read the label, follow the rate. Make sure you go with a nice conservative rate, and see what happens. What's the worst can happen, right? Give it a go and see what you get. Okay. Next up we have Jose Amate in the house. He says, do I need to apply coastal with surfactant to get post-emergent effects? No, you don't. I actually answered your question earlier without realizing you had the question down here. But yes, no surfactant with coastal. Again, imazaquin and simazine, they work. They need to get down in the soil to work. So if you think about imazaquin, that's the active ingredient in Image, which is a very commonly available herbicide. You can get it in your big box stores. And if you read the label for it, it requires that you water it in. So here's the thing to keep in mind, Jose. When you use coastal, it's going to be a bit slower. It's not going to be like Certainty or Celsius, where you spray it, and then within 5 to 7 days, 10 days, you're seeing a noticeable effect, especially this time of year. So if you spray it, or you put it down, apply it. If you can time it around when it's going to rain, that would be ideal. But other than that, just water it in and just wait. And yes, but absolutely no surfactant required. You're actually working against yourself if you mix surfactant with coastal, because that's going to make it adhere to the leaf, and that's not really what we want. We want to get it down in the soil. So good question. It's a really, really good question. And again, appreciate the support and appreciate you hanging out in the live stream. If you got any more questions, feel free to drop them in below, and we'll do our best to answer them. All right, next up we have G Free in the house, 301. He says, "Hey Ron and Strap Action Gang, happy holidays ahead of time. Really enjoy the Q&As." Yeah, man. Well, you could say not even ahead of time, right? Because really, once you get past Thanksgiving, I think really Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, whatever whatever holiday you happen to you claim and celebrate. Really, once we pass Thanksgiving, we're in the Christmas or holiday season, right? So I think you're good to go. You don't have to. I don't think we have to wait right up until Christmas to be able to say Happy Holidays. But I appreciate it, G Free. I appreciate you watching the lawn care Q&As. It's been a lot of fun. I got to tell you, literally, when was it? Over a year ago. So in August last year, when I started doing these, I was looking for a way to continue to interact with you guys. Kind of build a little bit of audience connection and let you guys a little bit into my world, and just talking about lawn stuff, but also about just anything else you guys want to rap about. And I had no idea that it would be received as well as it did. I figured that by the time spring rolled around, it would die off and no one really would care as much. But the live stream is really almost as you guys look for it almost as much as the other regular content, which is cool. So yeah, I really appreciate you watching, and appreciate all you guys coming to hang out and watch the live stream, even in December when all your grasses are not really growing that much. It really shows that it's resonating on some level, right? So that's awesome. All right, next up we have Robert Rainey. He says, "I have a lot of areas and want to treat all." Okay, so if you have a lot of areas, Robert, in that case, go for the blanket app. So what I would say is this, right? If you have a lot of areas, let's do a blanket app the first time, but then if you can, assuming it works this time of year, assuming you get a result from it, by that time you should start seeing the burr weeds starting to discolor and die off, and hopefully then you can transition from the one blanket app you did the first time to spot spraying afterwards, right? So if you've got it all over the place, go ahead, do your blanket, and then maybe transition to spot spraying after the fact. Don't be surprised if you have to do a follow-up application, especially around this time of year. But yeah, given what you're describing, and it sounds like you just really want to blanket the entire lawn. You know what? If you're asking for an accountability partner, and I think everyone else in the chat, myself included, will be your accountability partner. If you want to blanket the lawn, go for it. Go for it. Just make sure you read the instructions. Make sure you use a non-ionic surfactant along with that blend that you're using. And make sure you're disciplined about how much you put down. Don't be making overlapping passes or anything like that. Just be really disciplined about doing a single app over the entire area that you're trying to target. So there you go. All right, next up we have Alex. Alex is back. He says, "True, Ron, tenacity probably would have been fine. I was just being overly cautious when the grass growth already slowed down so much at that point." And I get it, man. If I were you, that's literally what I would do, right? It's you have to figure. I didn't spray any herbicide on my lawn until the Celsius Certainty video, and that video, when did I publish that? That video was later in the season, man. That was August. That was mid-August is when that was published, right? And believe me, I've been fighting with weeds. I've been having weeds throughout the lawn, all this season because I didn't spray any pre-emergent on the lawn in the spring because I really wanted the Arden 15 to take. I did that. The Arden went in, it's going in, and it is what it is at this point. Because I put down pre-emergent this fall, and I'm doing pre-emergent in the spring because it literally drove me crazy seeing weeds in the lawn. It wasn't crazy out of control. None of you guys even probably noticed it, but I was seeing crabgrass throughout the place, and the sedges were just loving life. They're mocking me and just having a grand old time. So yeah, I'm definitely back to the pre-emergent train. And I hear you, man. If with everything you've done as far as the work you've put into seeding the lawn and getting to this point, waiting a couple more months till February, or March to use tenacity to knock out any weeds that happen to be around then, it's a small price to pay, especially since it's about to all be covered in snow here soon anyway, right? So I would not sweat it, man. I think you're making the right call. All right, Robert. Robert saying, on a different note, nice to talk lawns after this week with a log4j vulnerability. I'm sure you can relate. Oh yeah, dude. It's people have no idea how nasty that that bug is going to be. You know, the thing that log4j is going to expose is how, not to get too geeky on you guys, but how good a job organizations have been doing as far as defense in depth, right? Because a lot of the thing about it is, for any of you guys in a nutshell don't understand what the vulnerability is, but it's a vuln in a Java library that's used for logging. And what that means, what logs are, sounds like what it is. Sounds like it's whenever you're trying to keep a record of activity on a system. In Geek Talk, we call those the logs, right? So you can refer to them to see if something went wrong. The issue is that this library has a parsing bug in it that allows a malicious actor to inject codes. You can almost think of it from a standpoint of, like, imagine your computer. I don't know, like right now I'm using my computer to stream on YouTube, right? It allows someone to load a nugget of code or a small application of their choosing and have that execute. And because of the like how that library runs, like the privileges that it normally runs with, typically runs with elevated privileges, it means that any code you inject is also going to run with elevated privileges. It makes it very, very nasty. I mean, this could be as bad as like MSO867, which is like one of the probably the last really nasty wormable bug that like ravaged the internet. So we'll see, man. Yeah, Robert, you're right. It is nice to relax a bit after dealing with that all week, and it's not over. So. But yeah, thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream so we can just break away from geek stuff and just enjoy talking about grass and weeds and stuff that we can't fix right now. All right, next up we have Erna Joe in the house. He says, hi Ron, I pay a lawn company $145 each lawn treatment for 2 yards. For 2 yards, okay. I want to attempt to treat the lawns myself. Do you have a list of basics needed to get started? I live in Arkansas. Okay, so it depends on so the answer is yes. Do I have an actual, like, a list? It depends on the grass type you have in Arkansas. You could have cool season grass, or you could have the almighty Bermuda. So depending on which one you have, that's going to make a difference. The thing that's going to really make a huge difference for you, Erna, is pre-emergent. Like literally getting a pre-emergent application down in the spring and down in the fall is going to do a ton for keeping weeds out of your lawn, or just reducing the weed pressure in your lawn. 145 for each treatment. Again, I don't know what that means. Is that them doing a pre-emergent app to both lawns? I don't know how big the lawns are, so that might be a fair price, or it might be expensive. But if it's for them to spray 2 lawns with pre-emergent, I mean, it's not super cheap, but it's not horrible either. And again, it depends on the size of the lawns you're dealing with. I have content on spraying pre-emergent, like how to mix it, how to select it, how to apply it. We got a couple of videos on that topic that you can look at in here. I'll see if I can find something here while I'm multitasking, if I can get it for you. But pre-emergent is going to be the big thing, and then really outside of that, as far as like a post-emergent herbicide, it depends on your grass type. So if you have warm season grass like Bermuda, then Celsius is a really good option. I'm really a big fan of the Celsius Certainty combination. One, because you have a really broad range of coverage with those 2 herbicides. And as far as being sensitive to higher temperatures, they are not. So that you can spray them over. You can spray them over a fairly broad range and still get a pretty good result. If you have cool season grass like rye or fescue or Kentucky bluegrass, then you're going to be wanting to use something like Tenacity along with Speed Zone. Like that combination works well. So as far as post-emergent, it depends. As far as pre-emergent, prodiamine is an excellent choice, and I'm going to link the video that I did last year here in the chat. It's a pretty good piece of content that explains like mixing rates and all this kind of stuff. So take a look at that, and if you have any other questions, let me know. I mean, it's a big thing. And here's the thing you have to realize too. I mean, I applaud you for trying to take on or considering taking care of your lawn yourself, because it's fun. It is a matter of pride. But $145 for 2 lawns, I'm not sure if that's every app. That includes like every time they come out and put down fertilizer, they're charging you that much. So you can save money by doing it yourself, depending on how much you value your time, right? Because one thing you have to keep in mind too is to spray pre-emergent and even herbicides properly, you need to invest in a good backpack sprayer. So figure that's going to be $150 up to almost $300, depending on which kind you want to go with. So there's that. So there is, there's certain accoutrement that goes along with, deciding to take on lawn care for yourself. But if something you just want to do anyway, like you just enjoy it, then yeah, I get it. But as a way strictly just to save money, might not necessarily be the best thing, depending on how much you value your time and how much you just enjoy doing it. So something to keep in mind. We'll start with pre-emergent. In that video that I just linked, you're going to see mention of prodiamine. That is this. You can get this at the golf course lawn store right there. We have it in this smaller size. It'll treat up to 6,000 square feet for warm season grass. And then there's a 5-pound jug that's like 96,000 square. So it's a lot. It'll treat a lot more than this will. But if you have a smaller lawn, then something like that, the small I'm showing you will work well. So, but yeah, just let me know if you don't mind down in the chat which kind of grass you have, and I can throw out some more options. But really, pre-emergent, and then some kind of post-emergent herbicide if you want for spot spraying, and then deciding on what kind of fertilization program you're going to use for feeding the lawn. Like all that depends. So hopefully that gives you some stuff to think about. But it's a great question, and hopefully it's not scaring you away. It's giving you some just food for thought for taking on your lawn care yourself. So great stuff. All right, next up we have Alex. Alex is back. And he says, the lawn is pretty much shut down for weeks already. Definitely will be aggressive with post-emergent next spring. Yeah, so if it's already shut down, man, don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. I mean, I can promise you, you're the only one that's really concerned about how your lawn looks this time of year. Like most of your neighbors don't really care. I'm pretty sure even like people in your household, like loved ones that look at the grass, they probably think it looks fine. So I can assure you that we are much more critical of our lawns than the average layperson would be. So yeah, I think just waiting till next year is a good idea. It's a good idea. Plus you can just relax, man. Why not, right? All right. Manchester Skulls says, hey Ron, did you make a decision on the Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve streams? Plan on doing them a different day those weeks? I'm still planning on doing Christmas Eve for sure, right? I did it last year. Why not? I will see about doing a giveaway. I got the nice folks at Miramichi Greens. Here's the thing, guys. You ask, some of your partners and say, hey, listen, the people that watch the live stream, they're a demanding bunch. These guys, they like their swag. The guys and gals, they want their free stuff, So I reached out to Miramichi Green and they sent me some hats. So I got some nice gray hats, some dark gray, and some light gray hats. So I'll probably be giving both of those away, or giving all these away next week. And then we'll probably just do it live. Depending on people who are on the live stream, I want to make it fair, but I have to think about how I'm going to do that, because what we might do is, if I can think of a way to do it live that makes it equitable for everyone to have a fair shot, then I'll do that. But worst case, what might happen is you may have to do what we've done in the past, where you just have to leave a comment at the end of the stream, and then the following week, so sometime like the week of New Year's, I'll pick the winner. We'll have a stream to pick the winner and send out all your swag and all that stuff. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure something out, and I'll see if I can get some other stuff in addition to just hats to throw in as well. Trying to sweeten the pot a little bit, because I know you guys are a demanding bunch. I know you guys like your free stuff. So we'll see what we can do. All right, next up we have Clayton Wilson in the house. He says, happy holidays, Ron. Just got my soil test back and everything looks good except for phosphorus, which jumped from 37 pounds per acre to 92 pounds per acre since February. Wow, yeah, that's a pretty big jump, man. That's quite a bit. I guess, assuming that's those are the numbers, we're not going to necessarily need to be, you probably don't need to be doing any applications of fertilizer next year that have phosphorus in them. Just stick to the N and K for your ferts, or something like Humic Max. Great choice, an excellent choice, right? Because it has no phosphorus in it. And just do that. So that's good. You have the data, right? That's the beauty about soil testing, is that it tells you what to do, but also what not to do, or what to apply and also what not to apply, which is just as important, right? So good. I'm glad that you got your data, and then you can just make a decision on what it lets you formulate your treatment plan for next spring, which is, I think, very, very good. So great stuff. And then follow-up comment, he says, I apply Carbon Pro G monthly, thinking the compost may have been the source. The only other phosphorus I applied was a 888 in the spring. Would Essential G solve as increasing phosphorus? No, I mean, the thing with Essential G, I've not known anyone that's had seen increasing, like after doing a lot of Essential G apps, seeing a huge spike in phosphorus numbers in their soil. I did not see that in my lawn, and other viewers that use Essential G and even Carbon Pro G didn't either. So I'm not sure what's going on in Clayton. I don't know why your phosphorus levels, jumped that much. I mean, because that's over double is what you said, right? What did you say? You said 37 pounds per acre, or 37 pounds per acre to 92 pounds. Yes, it's over double. That's a pretty big jump, and I have not seen that kind of a change being reflected in the soil tests that I've looked at from people that have used Essential G or Carbon Pro G. And I've used, by and large, primarily Essential G over this past season, and I've not seen that in my lawn. Like my phosphorus levels didn't double, and I hate to say this. I'm sure there's always somebody who's going to show me that they have like a big pickup truck of Essential G, right? But I've applied more Essential G than most people have apply on their lawns at a heavier rate than most people apply it, and I have not seen that. And I also soil test more often than you guys do, so and I've not seen a huge jump. I would just I wouldn't really sweat it too much. Really, just make sure that not to apply anything that has phosphorus in it. Just so as far as your fertilizer in the spring, use something that doesn't have phosphorus, and just let it ride out. Just keep taking care of the lawn, mow it, and don't sweat it, man. I wouldn't stress about it too much. Would not worry about it too much. All right, next up we have Manchester Shoal saying, any particular lawn care gifts you're hoping to buy or get this holiday season? Not really. I mean, as far as lawn care, stuff, I'm pretty good. I mean, I got my Essential G, so I'm good there. I've got my carbon kit. I've got some Humic Max laying around, so I'm pretty set. I don't think I'm gonna pick up anything. I am toying, and again, I'm toying with the idea of a landscape blade, but I just don't want another piece of equipment to have to take care of, man. I mean, and as far as like gifts for myself, that's for lawn care, I guess taking the Greensmaster in to get that service, like it's gonna be a little gift, a lawn care gift to myself. I'm gonna get that done here soon. But outside of that, no, not really. I mean, I've got pretty much everything I need from a standpoint of need to take care of the lawn. And granted, there's always cool stuff that I can get in for reviewing and to play around with and testing. But as far as having the equipment I need to actually maintain the lawn in the state that I like it, I'm pretty well covered at this point. Of course, someone might show me some new shiny object that changes that, but for right now, I think I am in pretty good shape. All right, Kevin D. Jones says, Ron, you are the king of the pandemic. You have carried us through this as our second December on the live stream. Purple heart for you. I don't know about the king of the pandemic, but I appreciate it, sir. I appreciate that lawn care is something that helps keep you guys sane with everything going on. Hopefully, you guys are getting a chance to hang out and just relax and not worry about all the craziness going on in the world. Just relax and just relax, chill. If you drink, if you have your drink of choice, libation of choice, sit back, have a nice glass of whatever it is that you like to have: wine, lemonade, whiskey, bourbon, whatever your drink happens to be. Water if you don't drink at all, and just reflect on just be grateful for everything that you have. That we even have a live stream, that we have, that the country's still doing okay for the most part, sort of, kind of, I guess. And just sit back and just take stock in the good things happening, and versus some of the things that are not so great going on right now. So my advice for this time of year. But I appreciate it, Kevin. I appreciate the love and support, and that you guys coming to hang out and talk about turf over the holiday season. So that's always fun. Okay, next up we got Patrick in Texas saying gift cards, hopefully. Okay, so that's a good point. Great segue, Patrick. The check's in the mail. I appreciate you. So what Patrick is talking about is on the golf course lawn store. That's a good point. I guess I could do gift cards. That's a good point. So that's a good idea. It's a good idea. Okay, so on the golf course lawn store, we now have gift cards, you guys. So if you have that guy or gal that you just don't know how, they have everything and they want some kind of a gift, right? Nothing says I love you like lawn care stuff. I'm trying hard, right? And to make that easier, we've got gift cards now in the golf course lawn store, various dollar amounts, $50 all the way up to $500, depending on how big of a lawn you're dealing with, how much stuff you want them to be able to buy. And hopefully you guys like the card. I went through several iterations on this. I'm not sure if I really like the gift card image, but it's what I got. And, hopefully it's good enough that you guys will consider that as an option for your stocking stuffers for this Christmas season. So yeah, that's definitely an option. Thank you for that, Patrick. I appreciate the shout out. All right. Next up, we have Whit Helen with a question. He says, "What does ester-based herbicide mean?" Not sure on that one. Whit Helton. He says, "Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you." I'm not sure. I have to take this as a research topic. I'm not sure what ester-based herbicides that really means. I would imagine if I'm guessing, just thinking about what ester is, as I'm thinking it would be as a carrier. If I'm just thinking out loud. But yeah, as far as to be able to tell you off the top of my head, what an ester-based herbicide is, I don't have anything for you on that one. You got me. See, so there you go. You get the applause. You have been awarded the Stump Ron prize of the evening. Pop it up. But if I had to guess, I imagine it refers to the carrier, the primary carrier in the herbicides. But I'm sure if someone else knows, feel free to chime in and let me know. Great question. Appreciate you jumping in on the live stream. And again, Merry Christmas to you as well, sir. Much appreciated. Next up, we got Grasshopper Lawn Care in the state of Georgia, where they say, "Feeling sad. Lawn cutting has come to an end. Leaf cleanups are ending. Having trouble finding some content for my channel. Maybe we'll get together, get another Snowmageddon this year, and I can spread salt." So I don't know, man. If you have a channel, why not talk about, I don't know, if you've got content you need to make, talk about like your take on winterization. Like I did a winterization video where I pretty much said, don't put a fertilizer down on your lawn for the most part. For most people, I think it's a bad idea. If you're in South Florida and your grass is still actively growing, sure. But for most people, not a great idea. But what's your take on winterization? Maybe that's a piece of content you can put together and make, right? That's something to consider. And Snowmageddon, we might get one, but I don't know that. Spreading salt. I don't even know in Georgia that's even really a thing that most homeowners would know how to do. Like I know they do it on the roads when there's snow in the forecast or ice in the forecast. But as far as like a piece of content that's going to resonate with most homeowners in Georgia, I don't know. Maybe it's something to try out. If it happens, give it a shot and definitely let me know. I will watch. All right, next up we have Kevin D. Jones back. He says, "I'm trying to snag a real mower from Prairie Turf when I view the right one." Yeah, how do you really know what's the right one, Kevin? What's Prairie Turf got up on their as far as their mowers? They tend to have some pretty nice stuff here. Let's look at their selection, what they're rolling with. You guys want to take a look with me? Again, this is not sponsored by Prairie Turf and Equipment. They don't pay me to show their stuff. I just had a really good experience with getting my mower from them. But right now, they got like a 2016 Toro Greensmaster 11 blade with 380 hours on it. It's not bad. Again, if you don't want to get your mower from Canada, I also recommend reaching out to the nice folks at Jerry Pate. Talk to Joey. Tell him Ron sent you. He'll probably charge you double if you do that. But let him know that you heard about it, about their business on the live stream, and who knows, he might help you out somehow. Probably charge you extra though. Let's see, they got a Jacobson. I don't know that much about Jacobson mowers. I've never actually used one to know, and a couple other Jacobsons. But yeah, there's a 1600 there, Kevin. That's an option. $3,600 for 2016. That's not horrible. It's not also great either. It's not like a amazing price, especially once you figure that you're gonna have to pay another $200-300 on top of that for shipping. Just depends. And with the 11 blade, depending on how to cut you're trying to maintain your lawn at, that may or may not be a fit. Like 11 blade between 1/4 of an inch to like 3/4 of an inch is like the sweet spot for that. And if you're not trying to cut that low, then you might do better with like an 8 blade, right? So if you decide you have to swap the reel out, that's another expense. So it just depends on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to go for there. But yeah, you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time. I mean, I would get your mower selection done prior to spring, because spring is when everyone's going to wake up and decide that they want to, real mow, and you don't want to have all that extra competition. So figure something out here in the next, month, for next 60 days or so, 45 to 60 days. That would be my recommendation. And what you do, let us know. Take a picture of it, send it in. We'll put it up on the channel, and you can show everyone your new piece of hardware. Always fun. All right, next up we have Alex B is back. He says, unless you're basically going for a totally new lawn renovation, I don't think any cool season grasses would tolerate a total scalp very well. They're not alpha like the warm season varieties. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the person that was saying that they're doing scalping like now, like December timeframe. I don't understand. I'm trying to understand a reason why you would do that. I can't think of any. I can't think of any benefit to doing it. The only I can consider is if you're like in South Florida, like south, like south of Miami, Keys, like where it's, hot most of the year, and you want to scalp then. But I mean, if you're anywhere where it gets cold, I don't get it. I don't think it's a great idea for this time of year, but always happy to learn something new. But like you, Alex, I don't think it's a great idea. Bermuda, I mean, you could probably scalp Bermuda now if you wanted to. I wouldn't, but there's no real benefit. I guess what I'm trying to say. There's risk with no benefits, a risk with no rewards. This is why this is not the time of year to really go about doing that. All right, next up we have Jose Amante. Says, my mother-in-law is buying me some rotary scissors for Christmas. Nice mother-in-law, man. So that's good. She supports you, man. She says, you know what, Jose, he keeps the lawn nice. He likes it nice. He is probably a great husband to my daughter. And he's always talking about those rotary scissors. So she's hooking you up. That's cool, man. That's pretty sweet that you got family hooking you up with some turf care equipment, man. You got to have, always having new toys, new tools is always fun stuff. So that's pretty cool. I approve of that. And Grasshopper Lawn Care is saying most of my Bermuda lawn is still green too. It's awesome, man. Whatever you guys are doing, that's very cool. Not mine. You guys have seen pictures of it. It is largely dormant. If you've not seen what my lawn looks like and you guys are curious, I can't show you now because it's in the video. We're like in the live stream right now. But my video on winterization, at the very beginning of said video, I do a pan of the back lawn and I show you what the lawn looks like. It's still got some green, but it's largely dormant at this time of year. So just something for you guys to look at if you want to see Ron's lawn this time of year. There you go. So that video, in case you just want to say, you don't have to watch like a few seconds of if you want to see that, but if you click on it, watch the whole thing. Don't mess up my my audience retention numbers, man. Make sure you watch the entire thing. I appreciate it. Matters to YouTubers. It matters. All right. Next up, Lois is back. She says, I'm sitting beside the fire pit, drinking a hot chocolate spiked with cinnamon schnapps. I use my Toro chipper shredder, reduce the mountain leaves to manageable piles of leaves, compost for my flower beds. Very, very nice. You're doing it right, Lois. Sounds good. Just sitting out there, just relaxing, just staying warm by the fire with some hot chocolate, little schnapps in it. Good stuff. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan. I'm gonna have my libation once the live stream is over. I already got my glass here waiting for me. I'm just waiting. I got my libation of choice. I'm gonna pick here off the shelf, and as soon as it's over, I'm gonna have a nice neat pour and relax and have my my nightcap. So I'm looking forward to that. That's what I'm gonna be doing later. Doing that later. All right, next up we got Ben Ram. Says, I'm down the street from you in Sugar Hill and I did a full renovation with blackjack in the spring. It's 40% green across the entire lawn. Man, see, now I'm jealous. Now you're making me think I went wrong with Ardent 15. I'm thinking, maybe blackjack would have been the ticket. So Ben, you're saying it's still 40% green, but you're not having to mow this time of year, I wouldn't imagine, right? So it's still green, but it's really, as far as growth, it's shut down. And here's the thing I would say, right? And I kind of use this as a qualifier. Now, my lawn was green. It was green. It was still largely green until like the week before Thanksgiving when I mowed it. So I didn't, when I did my mow right before Thanksgiving, that took the green off and it didn't come back. So what I'm curious of, for those of you guys in Georgia that still have largely green lawns, Bermuda, but you're saying in your case, like 40% green, is it because, in other words, is it staying green after you've mowed it? Or is it just you haven't mowed it since, say, late October, or late October, early November, and you're just kind of hanging on to the green you've got now? Because if it's the latter, like in other words, you haven't mowed it, then I get it. In my case, my lawn being all brown is really self-induced from that cut that I did at this point 5-6 weeks ago. So it'd be interesting to find out if you guys are still cutting and your lawn is still green as well too. That would be an interesting to hear from, to find out. Okay, and Manchester Show saying at Jose Amato, nice. I can't get anything near that nice from my mother-in-law. That's what I'm saying, man. That's a really nice mother-in-law, man. She really whatever you're doing, keep it up, because she really likes you. That says a lot. Because here's the thing. Think about that, Jose. That's a gift that is literally only for you. It's not like she bought, like, I don't know, like a coffee maker, or I don't know, like a wine, like I don't know, whatever, something for the house that both her daughter and you could get some use out of. Pretty much the rotary scissors is pretty much just a Jose thing. So that's pretty awesome. Good job, mother-in-law, on taking care of Jose. The rest of us here are jealous. All right, we got a super chat here from a couple here I got to take care of. We got one from Rob Schott. I appreciate it, Rob.
Super chat received.
He says, happy holidays, Ron. Thanks for helping with the lawn withdrawals this season. You are very, very welcome. Thank you for coming out and just hanging out and watching the content along with. Well, we got Lawn Whisperer in the house. We got who let the Lawn Whisperer in? Justin, how's it going, man? Hopefully, how's the new property, new ranch, everything else growing in and doing, man? You gotta let us know. At some point, I gotta get you on the live stream. I've been saying that like all season, and it never happens, right? I always keep saying that. At some point, I'm just gonna have to like open up just send you a link and just say, hey, if you got your video up and you want to join, just join. You could do it tonight if you want. If you have your camera and your wife and family's okay with it, and you want to get on for a few minutes, we can make that happen. And the next up, we have another super chat from Patrick in Texas. Says,
Super chat received.
Is this looking for a new spreader, not set on anything specific? I'm looking at the Earthway 2050P or the Echo RB60 currently. Thoughts on either way, or keep looking? Okay, so great question. Both are excellent spreaders. Both you're gonna do well with either one of them. I bias more towards the Earthway. Here's why. Because if you look at the labels for like the products from Syngenta, on the labels for like Lebanon Turf Ferts and other, and I don't say necessarily commercial, but more professional grade products, you will tend to see a spreader setting for Earthway spreaders, and the RB60 you don't see that mentioned as much. Now, if memory serves me, the RB60, it takes the same spreader setting, I believe, as Scott's. I think that's correct. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's right. If that's correct, and if that's right, it's my argument still holds, because like Scott spreaders, good luck finding settings for Scott spreaders on any like commercial grade or professional grade fertilizers or just lawn care products. It's just, you don't really see it as much. So for that reason alone, so you don't have to spend time in conversion charts, I would go with the Earthway. I really like mine. Here's the thing, Patrick, I like my Earthway so much that the one that I got in, let me think, the first one was in late 2017. I like it so much, that particular spreader so much, that I gave that one that I got in 2017 to Alex, and then I bought another one of the exact same model. So I could have bought something else. I could have gotten like a Let's Go or gotten, an RB or something else, but I bought the exact same one because I just like it. It's a great spreader. It works great, and there's no issues with it. The only negative I would say, or the only thing I'd say that they changed between the 2017 model and the one that I have, is the ones that I got now. When you put the handles on, I would put a little bit of Loctite, a little bit of blue Loctite on the wing nuts that hold it in, just to make sure they don't back out. Like my older one, I think they use like a what's it called? Like a washer with like a nylon fitting in it. So a nylon insert, so it kind of locks and can't back out easily. The new ones, I think, just kind of cheapen out and they just put just metal wing nuts. So a little bit of Loctite, and that's the only big change I would say between them. But outside of that, for me anyway, Earthway all day long, all day, every day is what I would go with. That would be my choice. Okay, so now the hard part. Let me scroll back up here and see where I left off. We had Jose, who, again, everyone being jealous that his mom or his mother-in-law bought him some scissors, some rotary scissors, which is pretty awesome. All right, and then next up we got Ben. Yeah, so he's saying that the parts by the concrete along the sidewalk are still really green. That's the same thing for me, Ben. The areas that are seeing the most heat, so near the patio, near the house on the right hand side, that also is seeing it's also staying fairly green. And the front lawn, because it's also like bordered in concrete and it's getting more sun, or it is also doing really well too. So, or it's doing better than the back anyway, right? So yeah, I am not surprised. Not surprised. All right, next up, Jose saying, Merry Christmas to everyone. I have to go to my wife's Christmas party. You're a jewel to YouTube, Ron. You're very, very welcome, Jose. And that's important, man. You definitely need to go to wife's Christmas party. I mean, here's the thing. Wife, like your mother-in-law, your wife's mom got you some rotary scissors. So you need to keep that woman happy. So definitely go to the Christmas party. Be very sociable and charming and nice and everything. So yeah, thank you for stopping to chime in for a little bit. I really do appreciate it. And I guess we'll see you next week. Hopefully, we'll see, depending on your schedule goes. All right, next up we have Patrick in Texas. He says, to continue on the certainty temp concern, would Sedgehammer be better this time of year? I can't say for sure. If I had to choose between certainty and Sedgehammer, I would still lean towards certainty, Patrick. I still go with certainty all day long. Certainty has a broader range of weeds that it covers. And it's just, it's in my opinion, it's a superior product in every way. You know, the big thing with Sedgehammer, it has certain sedges that it works well against, some it doesn't. Certainty, for the most part, will knock out all of them. It's a really, really good product if you care about sedges and if you're also looking to take care of POA. So that's why I would just go for that one. And it also doesn't have any real higher temp restrictions, right? So for me, of the two, certainty is the one I would go with. Check the label on Sedgehammer. I'm not sure if there's any restrictions on it as far as applying it during cooler temps, but with certainty, I wasn't able to find any. The only lower temp restrictions or guidance I found was really around storage. They say like -20 is about the coldest you want to keep it, which is pretty cold. But as far as actual application, I didn't see anything else in that along those lines. So yeah. All right, Lois is back. She says, I asked Santa for a gift certificate from the Golf Course Lawn Store for Christmas. I'm trying to stock up for next season. Hope he's listening. Hope you get that, Lois. That'd be pretty awesome. The one thing I say is, Humic Max is still on sale. We're going to let that run for a little bit longer. So if you guys have used that fertilizer and have had good results with it, and you want to continue using it, like stock up now, because next year, like I'll just come over here and I'll show you really quick. Like right now, it's like $45 a bag, I think is what it's at right now. Yeah, so it's a substantial discount from what it was during the growing season. And next year, if any indications of if everything else, or if 2021 is the inflation and just the difficulty of getting goods is any indication of what 2022 is going to be like the cost of fertilizer is also just going to go up. It's going to be more expensive next year. So if you have a fertilizer, I mean, I would love it that you bought Humic Max, obviously, but if you have a fertilizer of choice that you like, pick it up now and just hang on to it, because next year it's going to be it's very likely it's going to be more difficult to get your hands on. And even if you can, it's likely going to cost you more money. So just something to keep in mind as far as anyone that's, if you have that furtive choice that you really like, you have that vintage that your grass likes, do your best to stock up on it if at all possible. All right. Let me see. And Frank V is chiming in on as far as a blend for Bahaia lawns. He said triplet SF and dismiss mixed together is what you want for weed control on Bahaia lawns. I've never actually tried that combination, Frank. I don't have a Bahaia lawn, so I don't know, but I will trust that you've tried that and that it works well. Again, if anyone has a Bahaia lawn, obviously read the label and make sure that those two work and play nice together. But yeah, Bahaia is like the redheaded stepchild of grasses, or it's one of them, right? Like it's like one of those. It's along the lines of like centipede. It's one of these grasses where you got to be really careful as far as what herbicide you spray on it. So if you find a combination of triplet and dismiss work well, then by all means go for that. It'd be interesting to find out if dismiss will discolor Bahaia, because I know it discolors Bermuda. So it'd be interesting to know how Bahaia fares with dismiss. So something to see. If you have a YouTube channel, Frank, film and you're going to use that combination, or if you have some lawns, or I'm not sure if you're in the business or whatever, but if you have a lawn that you spray that on and you can show a video of what it looks like afterwards, it'd be kind of cool to see if there's any discoloration at all from that combination. Very, very cool stuff. Thanks for chiming in, sir. I appreciate it. Next up is Bo Muhammad. He says, thanks for doing the live chat. I learn other part of views and it works for me. Yep, you're very, very welcome, Bo. Thank you for coming to hang out in the live stream. I really do appreciate it. And then next up, we got a question from Dalvin Larry. He says, I have a question this week. All right, here we go. A question. Hopefully it's one that I have an answer to. We'll see, right? We'll see if it's a question I have an answer to, Dalvin. He says, I have a question this week. I used the full rate of prodiamine this fall, which cuts me off for the year. What is your recommended spring pre-emergent for those who can't use prodiamine? Thanks. Excellent, excellent, excellent question. So if you've used prodiamine and that is it gets you your monthly allocation, right? Your 12-month allocation, then switch to something like dithiopyr for your spring spring pre-emergent. So I want to say the brand name for dithiopyr is Dimension. I believe that's correct. And that's a good option. And actually, we'll dig into this a little bit, Dalvin. I like that for a spring pre-emergent because if you have warm season grass or any grass that gets crabgrass in it, Dimension is really nice because unlike prodiamine, Dimension can reach back, or any herbicide that you decide to go, or any pre-emergent product that you decide to go with that has dithiopyr in it, has a bit of reach back in that it can kill very young crabgrass. So it's really a better fit. Like if you had a choice of spraying dithiopyr in the fall or in the spring, it's really a better fit for spring months than the fall. So you're doing it right. I mean, again, either of them will work well, but if you have a choice between the two for the spring, dithiopyr is I'm not going to say a better choice, but it is a better choice for warm season grass. The negative to it is that it typically is a bit more expensive than prodiamine. So that is what I would go with. Maybe I'll make some content on that for the spring. Maybe that's what I'll use on my lawn this spring so you guys can see that. Because I don't think I have any content on Dimension. So that might be an option for the spring to show, application rates, mixing that, all that fun jazz. Something to consider. But great question. Great question. It's good that you're starting to think about that early in the season because spring's going to be here before we know it, right? Great question. All right, next up, Amin says, how can I get rid of purple oxalis in my lawn? Great question. I'm not sure on that one. I mean, I need to know what kind of grass you have. I don't know. Assuming you have Bermuda, or let's say you have a warm season grass, I am not sure if Spectricide covers purple oxalis. I'm not sure on that one. Let's see. Let us look and see if among the ones that are listed in the 470 weeds, you actually can drive along with me. We can learn about this together. See if that is listed. So it says, let's see, weeds controlled. If we look for oxalis, yep. So it lists common yellow. I'm trying to see if it says purple as well. Yeah, it says Oregon and yellow. It doesn't list purple. So you might be out of luck on that. If purple is something special where it's just a little bit more hardy, more difficult to get rid of, we may have to go to something different. Again, what the product that I was showing you, actually, let me go up here and actually show you. I didn't actually show you what I was showing you, right? You're probably going to do that. If you have warm season grass, is Spectricide. Really though, the time of year to spray this is not now. Really, you need to be applying this when temps are between 45 degrees and 90 degrees. Like that's the sweet spot for this like combination herbicide, post-emergent herbicide product. So you wouldn't want to spray this time of year anyways. But it sounds like if purple oxalis is what you're dealing with in your lawn, that this is not going to be a fit anyway. So we'll have to do some more research on that and see what else can possibly work. But also it'd be useful to know what kind of grass you're dealing with, because the product I just showed you, that's for warm season grass. If you have cool season turf, then you'd want to go with likely something different. So hopefully that helps. We got Thin Cut. He says, I sent you a picture for the live stream. Oh, thanks for that, Thin Cut. I don't know if I've got, can I find you? We'll see if I can make this work. I don't know. Yep, I got your picture. So I'll see if I can work on getting that up here in a little bit, Thin Cut. So I appreciate that. Let's see. Actually, we can show it. We can show it now. We'll see if we can get it to load. But I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you sending the pic in. And that is quite the Lord. Good grief, man. That's a huge piece of meat you're cooking there. Serious business, man. Serious business. Thanks for sending it in. That's quite the grilling job you're going with. All right, next up, we got Michael in the house. What's going on, Michael? Thanks for coming to hang out. I appreciate you. And then we have the Wind Chariot saying, "What's up, peeps? Yo, happy holidays." This show is like watching football reruns after the season is over. You just can't get enough. Here's the thing: we need to take a second on this one, Wind Chariot. Like, I don't want to watch any reruns of Alabama and Georgia. So there are some football that you just don't want to watch over and over again. So we got to qualify that. I agree that some reruns are good. Like, Jordan and the Bulls, like watching, that, like watching those kinds of reruns, fine. Or watching, something like it's actually happy, fine. But yeah, not all football reruns are good. It's too soon, man. Too soon. But I'm glad that this is a grass fix, get you your grass fix, that you something to do until springtime. I appreciate it. But yeah, as far as like watching football reruns for Georgia, it's, we're still having a hard time with that one. Still kind of rough. All right, next up, we got Frederick Menard in the house. He says, "Hey, Ron, happy Friday. Happy everyone from Marietta. Would it be okay to scalp Bermuda in the spring that was installed this past September?" Sure. Yep, no problem at all. No worries with that whatsoever, Frederick. If you want to scalp to your heart's content. Now, here's the thing. I wouldn't necessarily take it down to the dirt. I don't know what height you were maintaining your Bermuda at before it went into dormancy, or what height it's at now. But taking it down to an inch, like let's say you're cutting with a rotary, you want to take it down to an inch or 3/4 of an inch. That's not going to be bad. It saves you a lot of cleanup. So unless you are really looking to cut the lawn really low, unless you're really looking to real mow next season, I would just scalp just a bit below the height of cut that you're planning to maintain the lawn at, because otherwise it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, right? If you're going to take it down to just above dirt, one, it's gonna be hard on your equipment, and then second, it's just you're gonna be making like 2 or 3 passes and emptying out the grass catcher or whatever else you happen to have for doing that. So yeah, you absolutely decide to go ahead and go for that if you want to. I'm gonna be scalping in. We'll see. I'll probably do what I did this past year. I'll probably do a pre-scalp like in Feb, like a light scalp in February. We'll see, and then in March do the full thing. It just depends if the grass is growing or not. Right now, I've done a pretty good job maintaining it short at like 3/4 of an inch. So if it's not growing, I'll just wait till March to do it. So we shall see. I've done it both ways, and it's worked fine without with issue in either case. So it just depends on you, man. Depends on what you're trying to achieve. But yes, next spring, Marchish timeframe is a good time to go. All right, next up we have a question from Daryl about pre-emergent. Good one. He says, "Hey Ron, what pre-emergent are you using for the spring? I'm using dithiopyr. Should I do a split application? I'm really trying to target crabgrass." I am leaning towards that, Daryl. I did, I did prodiamine this past fall, right? And just to mix things up, and one, just to also produce some content for you guys for the spring, why not do dithiopyr, right? Why not do some dimension? So yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards in the spring. And as far as a split app, I mean, you can do that if you like. I don't necessarily think they're strictly needed, right? So I don't think they're strictly needed as much as people would like. Again, I tested it last year on Alex's lawn, and his lawn worked out really well just doing a full rate app of prodiamine. And again, it was really early in the season. We're talking like first week of February early. And he didn't have any weeds in his lawn. He's only now getting a few cool-season weeds here and there just a few small ones that he's just hand pulling. But for the most part, his lawn's been weed-free all season. So if you want to do it, by all means, but I don't know that it's strictly necessary to get good control. You know what I mean? So just depends. Just depends if you want to save a little bit back so that whenever late spring rolls around, if you want to be able to do another application of dithiopyr to do like your second half, if you want to do that, then I guess that's an option. But I don't think it's really strictly needed. Up to you though. Up to you. Either way will work. All right. Next up, Alex is he's saying, "Most of my family thinks I am crazy with how much attention I put into the lawn. So I am on my own for lawn care gifts." So what we're hearing here is your family thinks you're crazy, and they're not going to encourage this anymore. They're not supporting your habit. Is what I'm hearing. I'm buying myself the Yard Mastery sprayer and a new leveling rake from R&R. 2 good choices for lawn care gear. And yeah, I get it. They're not trying to encourage or feed the monster, right? I'll tell you what, you buy that spray, that leveling rake, that's gonna be the last leveling rake you buy, and the Yard Mastery spray, if you buy that's gonna probably be the last backpack spray you buy until something cooler and newer comes along and you just change it just because you want to change it because it's built like a tank. It's a really, really good sprayer. I really like it. And I like that more importantly that the build quality, I like that it also comes with all the attachments. So you buy it, take it out of the box, and away you go. You're good to go. No having to source fittings or anything like that. All right, next up we have Heartfelt Fashion says, during this dormant season, is the grass really dead or still growing roots underneath the ground? The tops of my grass is brown, but the bottoms are very green. The grass is still alive, right? If you think about it, the grass died. If something is dead, it's like truly dead, right? It's not gonna like reincarnate or come back, but it does go dormant. It stops growing. So yeah, the grass is still very much alive. And the question you're asking about, like you're seeing green, like if you look down near the crowns of the grass or the bottoms and you're still seeing some green in there, that kind of stuff, like what you're seeing, Heartfelt, is a reason why I'm not a fan of spraying like either tenacity or spraying glyphosate on Bermuda grass that is air quotes dormant, because while at the top, just at a 1,000 or 6 foot, in my case, a 6 foot view of the lawn, it looks like it's all dormant and it'd be safe to do that. When you get down, just underneath the surface, you can see that there's still some green, and that's going to cause a problem. You're gonna end up damaging the lawn. And you're not going to see it till the springtime. But yeah, to answer your question, it's not dead. It's literally dormant. Like there's no top growth. The root system is still very much alive, and there's just not. It's not going to wake up and start pushing top growth again until we get into the spring where we get warmer temps again. Once soil temps consistently start crossing 55 degrees, like into the 60s, Bermuda's really going to start taking off and doing its thing. So yeah, that's a good question. Good question. All right, next up we have Robert Rainey. Is a question about order of operation. He says, so order of operation in the spring: pre-emergent, fertilizer, core aerate, fertilizer, top dress. Let's see, pre-emergent, fertilizer, sure. Core aerate, fertilizer, and then top dress. Sure, yeah, that can work. That can work. Yeah. So, let me think about this. The order I normally do that in, Robert, is I'll do my pre-emergent, because I get it done fairly early, and then a month or so later I'll do my core aerate, and then I'll fertilize then. So you can do it either way. You can do pre-emergent and then fertilize and core aerate. But for me, like aerating is a great way to fast track the fertilizer into the soil. So I tend to do it before, but either way it works. And then your second block, I'm assuming you're talking about aerate, fertilize, top dress as part of a top dressing job, right? So like say that second part of the question is what you're planning to do, like say spring, like June-ish, like that time frame. Then yeah, that makes sense. Aerate, then fertilize, and then top dress. And that is exactly what I recommend. That's what I've done, and you get pretty good results with that. So yeah, absolutely, not no worries there at all. That's a good option. It's not like it's not like a it's a night and day difference. But if you just think about it logically, it makes sense that because fertilizer has to get down into the soil to begin working, like why not do it after aerating, like opening up voids in the soil so that it has an easier way to get in, right? So. But it's not like you're splitting hairs at that point. It's not like you're committing some cardinal sin if you fertilize long before aerating. You don't like combine the two. It doesn't really matter, to be completely honest. But for me, I like to aerate before drop my fertilizer down. Okay. Daryl is up. He says, great to hear you do the live stream next week. I'll be off to chime in, plus enjoy the live. Thank you so much, Daryl. That's the plan, man. That is the plan for next year. Next week. Again, heaven permitting, assuming I'm still around, that is the plan for next Friday. And then New Year's we're going to see as well. So, but that's the plan for next Friday to do the live stream for sure. All right, Clayton is saying, I was using the Sunnyland 22016 and Urban Farms last season. We'll be using the Humic Max next season. Awesome, man. Great stuff, Clayton. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Yeah, definitely, like I said, definitely stock up on it because that price is not going to be around forever. And likely whenever, again, assuming we're going to be able to get Humic Max again next year, it might be able to do it at the same price as it was throughout the growing season this past year, but it's possible it could be more expensive depending on how hard it is to get. It all depends on how things are next year. And I don't have any insight into that. Just looking at just how things are now, and if I extrapolate that out to next year, it's unlikely that stuff's going to be cheaper, is what I'm trying to say. All right. And then G Free, thank you so much, G Free, saying by all means hit that like button, guys. We got, let me see, we have 61 people on the live stream. People have come and gone. And our likes, we can get our likes up a little bit. So if you guys don't mind while I take a sip of my limonada, of touching that like button ever so gently. It's free for you guys to do. Great way to support the channel. Helps with engagement, helps get more people to come in and hang out and talk about turf stuff. So if you guys don't mind doing that while I take a sip of my lemonade, I would really appreciate it. Tasty. All right. Alex B says, yeah, so Alex is weighing in. He says, Robert Rainey, even though there are different opinions on the subject, I would aerate before you put down the pre-emergent. Yeah, so either way, because I have aerated, let me think about this. Every time I have aerated, it has been after pre-emergent has been applied. But again, if you're thinking about it from a logical perspective, it would make sense to aerate prior to pre-emergent, but that would mean aerating, like, again, if you're trying to get the most out of your pre-emergent, you really want to get the pre-emergent down like in late February, early March, and that's a bit early in the season to be aerating the lawn. Like you really want to aerate the lawn when it's actively growing so it can recover from it. So I I don't know that I would recommend aerating your lawn super early, but again, either way will work. I can just tell you from my personal experience, I've not aerated my lawn in the spring prior to pre-emergent going down ever. It's always been pre-emergent and then aeration, and then and the lawn's been fine. There's not been an issue with weeds in the lawn. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you're probably going to be just fine as long as you get pre-emergent down. That's the key thing. Just get your pre-emergent down. All right. Next up, we got Lois H. She says, I applied prodiamine last fall for winter weeds. If I applied diethyl this January, will I be able to overseed by May? No, I wouldn't do that. Lois. So here's the thing. You have to kind of pick your poison, right? Pick your poison. Pick what's important to you. Pick what your goals are going to be for next year. If your goal is to say, I want a weed-free lawn, that's the thing that's most important to me, without a ton of work, then pre-emergent in the spring makes a ton of sense. If your plan is to overseed or seed your lawn in May, I honestly wouldn't do a spring pre-emergent, because you're working against yourself. You are going to affect your germination rates. So you can do pre-emergent and then seed, but it's just you're working against yourself. So I would pick one or the other depending on which is more important to you, and just and do that. So if your thing is, I want to seed the lawn, that's my thing, that's the thing I want to get done next year, then doing pre-emergent is not the best idea. You could do it if you want, but you're working against yourself, and you have to pretty much accept that you're not going to get as good germination than had you not done that. So have to kind of decide, again, just to choose what's most important to you. Choose what's most important to you. All right, and Frank V is weighing in on the question about ester-based herbicides. He says ester-based is best for cool season grasses, whereas amine is, or amine, I'm probably not pronouncing that properly, is best for warm season grasses. It's the composition of 2,4-D. So there you go. Thank you so much, Frank V. I appreciate you chiming in and dropping some knowledge on us. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. And then I guess like Whit, let's see, yeah. So Whit and Frank, Witten and Frank, you're going back and forth. But so then Frank is saying you will get more drift with ester-based, and Whit is now happy because he says, gotcha, thanks, so question is good. So there you go, guys. See, so there you go. Sometimes I don't have the answers to the question, but a lot of times, there is someone in the live stream, some turf care pro or someone that just happens to know about that topic that can answer the question. So even though I may not know, doesn't mean you're not gonna get your question answered. So I appreciate that, Frank. Thank you for taking some time out to chime in and share a bit of knowledge with us. So the answer is ester for cool season grass and amine for warm season grass. Again, I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that properly. All right, and Frank is saying that I prefer amine or amine, depending on how you pronounce it, here in Florida as it gets warm, and I don't want vapor drift. So cool, thanks for chiming in. I appreciate you. All right, next up we got Manuel Alvarez in the house. He says, hey everyone. Greetings, Manuel. Thank you for coming to hang out in the live stream with us. Hopefully you are doing well. And then Richard's good. Richard Harwell says, my wife always gets me good stuff. She just doesn't know it yet. That's good, man. So you take care of Christmas for yourself for the most part, and just kind of have your wife just sign the Christmas card that you write to yourself. Is that what happens? That's pretty sweet. That's good. That's one strategy, Richard. Yeah, make sure you definitely get what you want. So that works well. That works well. All right, and then next up we have Rin Crucius. I think you're new, our RLN Crutch to the live stream. I'm not sure if you're new or just first time commenting, but I don't remember your name. So if you are new, welcome. Thanks for coming to hang out. Says, hey Ron, you are right. Your neighbor does not care. I'm a mom. I learned to use all the yard tools. I started watching vlogs to see how to make my grass gorgeous, and you're the one I follow. Thanks. You're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for all the love and support. I'm glad the content was helpful. But here's the thing too, you have to realize with being your own worst critic is that that means your lawn is, as far as your lawn looking better than your neighbors, looking better than most of the lawns in the neighborhood, that's going to be pretty much always a given, unless your neighbor's like Alex, who is like just as crazy as I am. So now it's like, we have like two, like our lawns like two, like one big lawn, because they're both like meticulously cared for and look awesome. But yeah, I'm glad that you're taking care of your lawn yourself. You learn how to use all the tools, and that you're making your lawn look gorgeous. It's funny, like not last year. I'm saying last year already because I'm thinking like last season, like a few months ago. This lady was walking her dog. And she says, your lawn, it looks amazing. Your lawn looks so phenomenal. Love the, whatever you're doing, keep it up. And I'm saying, yeah, it looks okay. I mean, there's issues here, because literally all I see when I look at it, and you guys are probably the same way, is you see all the problem areas. You don't sit back and take stock of like what most people it looks like, and all you can see are all the areas that you wish were better. But yeah, it's a sickness, right? It's never content with it with good enough, right? But there you go. It's fun. All right, Ben is saying he's still mulching leaves once a week. That does not sound like fun. That sounds like pretty horrible, Ben. Sorry to hear that. That you're dealing with weeds. Are dealing with leaves in your lawn, you're having to mulch twice a week. That's a good thing, I guess, for a lot of you guys that have like tons of leaves in your lawn, and I kind of mentioned this last week as well, or those of you that have like big like it snows, you guys must have a lot of space in your garage must be taken up by lawn care products or lawn care stuff, I imagine, right? Because it's a lot of equipment. Like I don't really have or own any stuff for taking care of leaves or for snow. So I guess it's only technically two pieces of equipment, but I guess you guys also probably have like a shovel and other stuff as well that I don't have. So yeah, something to think about. All right. B Gain says, good evening, Ron. I appreciate the content. I got a chance to put down 4 bags of Carbon Pro G yesterday. Hopefully the rain will hover over Conyers, Georgia tomorrow. Yeah, man. Congrats. Thanks for that. Good job getting the Carbon Pro G down. It's great stuff. And yeah, the thing with Carbon Pro G is it's not like an Essential G. It's not like you are like you must get rain in the forecast to really get benefit out of it. So, when it rains, it rains. It's not gonna, it's not like you're not gonna get any results. It's not gonna work unless you get rain immediately afterwards. So we will get rain at some point here in Georgia. So I really wouldn't sweat it. Great job though. Investing in your spring lawn in December. It's good idea. Good stuff. All right. RF Gonzo says, Merry Christmas, Ron. Thanks for all your tips. My lawn is looking great. You're very, very welcome, RF Gonzo. I appreciate you. And it says, U.S. Army veteran. If you're a veteran, thank you for your service, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for everything you do or have done for America. Appreciate that. All right. And then Arlen Crutch says, Ron, I started using Celsius this year and love it. It's a bit pricey, but well worth it. It is. That's the thing. It's like anything in life, right? Like if it's good and works well, if it works well, works at a reasonably good time frame and doesn't have a lot of adverse effects, you're going to pay for it. So Celsius is not inexpensive, but it's a really, really good post-emergent herbicide. It's among the best as far as like value for what you get out of it for warm season grass. It's the go-to if you can spring for it like that mixed with certainty. And you've got awesome coverage over the course of, for most warm season lawns. So yeah, I'm glad that you've used it. Glad that you're getting great results with it. All right. Manuel says, later, everyone, date night. Thanks for coming to hang in before going on the date. Enjoy your date. Enjoy your evening out. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. And then, yeah, Michael H. Chafin, because I think, Michael, you work on golf courses. Yes, I've seen a big increase in pricing on fertilizer, chemicals, and overseed. So yeah, so that's the thing. Like next year, stuff's going to cost a lot more. And and I'm thinking about ways of an alternate program that is going to like I'm working on obviously some other products that will hopefully negate the fact that a lot of the common fertilizers are going to be less available. We'll see if that works out. But then also working on a program that, by putting less inputs in, you're still going to get a great looking line. And really, to be honest, like using things like Essential G, like that granular carbon product with biochar, along with the carbon kit, it allows you to get more out of any fertilizers you put down. Literally, like the application rates that I use are relatively low for Bermuda, and the reason why I'm able to get away with that and still get like a really good looking turf is because I'm using products that make sure that the soil is working as well as it can to make all those nutrients available to the grass. So just something to think about as far as your mindset for next year. Don't think so much as like just pounding the soil with fertilizers and ways to keep the lawn green. Start thinking more holistically from a standpoint of like producing great soil, because if you produce great soil, like great grass is a byproduct of that. So just something to keep in mind. Thanks for weighing in, Michael. I appreciate the insight as far as what you're seeing already as far as fertilizer and chemical price increases for lawn care products. All right, Ben says, I also stopped real mowing in October, stepped up gradually on the GT to start leaf chomping from 3/4 of an inch to mow to a little over 2 inches over winter. Okay, so you're cutting way taller. So that makes sense. That makes sense as to why your lawn is still green. In my case, I'm at like 3/4. So that's why the Bermuda's like, okay, man, you want 3/4 of an inch? No problem. See you in the spring. And that's what I'm dealing with. So it makes more sense now that you told us about the height of cut that you're dealing with. So yeah, no, thanks for that additional context. All right, Joel Altagracia. I actually knew a girl back home in the her name was Altagracia. So I have not seen that name in over 20 years. So yeah, Altagracia. Okay. But that was her first name. It wasn't actually her last name. It says, any product recommendation for treating flies around the house with a mist blower? Yeah. So, I mean, if it's around the house as far as like externally, a great option is the Miramichi Green Pest Control. This guy here. I did a video on this on the channel already this year. This takes care of, I'll read the label for you, but it's got other stuff that it takes care of that's not on here. So mosquitoes, white flies, ants, fleas, no-see-ums, chinch bugs, roaches, ticks, aphids, and there's other insects that this will target as well that aren't listed on here. The nice thing about this is that it's non-toxic, Joel. And due to the way that it kills the insects, they can't form resistance to it. So like you have some insects that use, like say bifenthrin or some of the other insecticides that after a while they can develop resistance. Not with this stuff. So this is why, and it's also non-toxic, right? It's a great option for something that you can apply in the lawn, and that you can allow the kiddos and or fur babies to re-enter the lawn right after application. And that works really, really well in a broadcast sprayer. You can get it on the Golf Course Lawn Store. I can show you where it is right here. So you go to golfcourselawn.store. We help if I click here. Yep. You go to golfcourselawn.store, and right here on the third item, if I can get my face off, boom, right there, is the Miramichi Green Pest Control. So it's in stock and shipping. I think we did the math on this. Like one bottle of this stuff is like 21,000 square feet. Oh no, I'm sorry, no, way more than that. I think of a different product. 1 gallon covers up to 120,000 square feet, depending on the rate that you apply it. So one bottle goes a really, really long way. And if you want to see how to apply that, I've got a video on showing how to use it. And it's a great option because, again, even like your insecticides next year, like that stuff's going to get more expensive too. So, the Miramichi Green Pest Control, there's a lot of benefits to it. In addition, one, you can get it, and then it's also like safe for family, for insects, not for insects, safe for family, for pets, that kind of thing. And I've got a video talking all about it here that I will share with you. So I'll share in the chat for you, Joel. So at Joel, helpful if you click, Ron, at Joel Altagracia. And there's the video that talks about the pest control product that I am referring to. So hopefully you found that useful. All right. Next up, we got, so Frank V is chiming. He says, yeah, Ron, dismiss will yellow the grass some on Bahaia, but if you fertilize it and mow it, it looks only off for about a week or so. Okay. You got to mow it out and push the grass. So that makes sense. So it behaves the same way with Bahaia that it does on Bermuda, and that it causes some temporary yellowing. I mean, it's fast. I will say one thing with dismiss. It works very, very quickly, but it's, the grass is going to take an ouchie whenever you use it. So at least it's good to know that that's an option for Bahaia, because I know you guys, a lot of Bahaia users kind of get left out in the cold when it comes to herbicides. So great stuff. All right, Dwayne Hopkins says, hey, Ron, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Dwayne, he says, couldn't help but to pick up another bag of Humic Max with his great sale price. Everyone make sure to hit that like button. It's free, and it helps support Ron and the channel. That is very true. Very true. It didn't cost you anything, and it's a great way to support the channel. And I appreciate you from picking up the Humic Max. Dwayne, good job on taking advantage of the current sale price. And there we go. Again, and a grasshopper lawn care is chiming in. He says MSM turf will work on purple oxalis. So there you go. If you want an option for that, be sure to obviously read the label for the product. Make sure that it's a good fit for your grass type. Again, I think both grasshopper and is assuming that you have warm season grass. So just take a look at MSM turf. Make sure that it's safe for your grass type, and obviously read the label twice as far as PPE, as far as application rates, as far as mixing instructions, all that stuff. And it sounds like that's going to be a fit for what you are trying to take care of. Great stuff. I appreciate you, Grasshopper. Thanks for chiming in with the, thanks for the save. Thank you. All right. Dwayne says, hey, Ron, when scalping in the spring, would you recommend applying another application of pre-emergent, even if it's a light one? Not really. Not really. It's like not necessarily, because remember, when you're scalping, you're not getting down into the dirt, or you shouldn't be getting down into the dirt, right? So you apply your pre-emergent in February, March timeframe, water it in well, and then late March or March at some point you do a scalp. You're just taking the grass off. You're taking the tops off. So there's not really a need to apply pre-emergent. Again, I never have. If you're doing split apps and you want to, or you just want something to do, you can do that. But I've never done it. I've never seen a need to do it. And for me, and here's my reasoning behind that. I try to minimize how much I have to mess with any of the sides. As far as insecticide, herbicide, fungicides, I try to minimize like how much I have to interact with that stuff, especially when the stuff is in liquid form. Like the granular, less worried about, but when it comes to the liquids, I tend to try and get those down and be done with them as much as possible. So, I've never seen the need to apply pre-emergent after scalping. I wouldn't actually do it because you just scalped. If you did a proper application at rate and watered it in, you should be fine. So there's not really a whole lot of reason to do that in my opinion. Good question though. Good question. All right, and then Dithiopyr says, Frank is saying that he says Dithiopyr only lasts for 3 months at the high rate. That's why prodiamine is better choice for pre-emergent, in my opinion. That's a good point, Frank. That's a good point. So Dithiopyr, I guess if you are trying to, if you're going to wait a little bit later in the season, so like say March, if you wait till March to do your pre-emergent, then Dithiopyr could be a better way to go versus prodiamine. Again, we've applied that as early as like first week of February, which again I know is early. We did it purely as an experiment, and it worked great. We had no issues whatsoever as far as weeds on Alex's lawn. And mind you, that lawn got aerated at least twice that I can remember. I got aerated twice, and no problems whatsoever at all on his lawn. So that's a good point. Thanks for that as well, Frank. Appreciate you chiming in. And next up, we got Lindrick Butler. He says, hey, Ron, I have a question on the opposite side of Dalva's question about my neighbor's Bermuda yard. Pre-emergent was not applied to it. I'm thinking to mention the spring, but I'm hearing tons about coastal too. Yeah, so either way will work, Lindrick. It's kind of your call as far as what you're trying to do. Coastal is due to the fact that it really targets It's really good against POA, which tends to be more of a spring, like a late fall, winter, spring pest or weeds you have to deal with in warm season grass. I would really use Coastal more for the fall than the spring. I mean, there's nothing that says you can't use it in the spring, but most people get more value out of it using it as a fall pre-emergent than a spring. But I mean, again, if you use something else this past fall and you want to use Coastal, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to hurt anything to do that, especially if you're behind the curve and you didn't do a pre-emergent, or you want to take care of POA as well. If you're doing your pre-emergent application a little bit earlier, then sure, that can work just fine. All right, Higgy Pop's in the house. He says, "Hey Ron, hope everyone is having a great weekend. Hit the like button for Ron. Thank you so much, Higgy Pop. I appreciate you. Thank you so much." Then we got now Static Alpha is doing some lawnmower maintenance. He says, "Hey Ron, I replaced a drive belt on my California trimmer, and now it is making a horrible grinding noise. Any idea what the noise could be? It works fine, but definitely something is wrong." Okay, so if it's making a grinding noise, something, to your point, something's wrong. Somebody didn't go back together properly. I've never worked on a California trimmer, so I don't know what to tell you to check for. But if there's any kind of a tensioner, or if there's any kind of tension you have to set, check that. I'm not sure what else to tell you to look for. I mean, if it could be a couple of things. Check the belt tension, assuming there's some way to tension the belt, which there should be. Check alignment. So if there's any pulleys that the belt has to run over, make sure that all that is all in good shape and just aligned properly. It sounds like that is where your problem is probably stemming from, more so than anything else. I would just look at everything you took apart when you replace the belt, and just double or triple check it. Check belt tension, check the other, the pulley system, and see if you can figure it out. When you take it apart again, it'll probably be obvious. It's likely to be obvious what was causing the problem in the mowers. But I would not run it that way for an extended period of time. So if it's making noise that it wasn't making before, something's not right. Let's disassemble it again and fix it. Figure out what it is and resolve it. Don't run it that way for a long period of time. You don't want to take the chance of damaging something. I'm not sure what it could be, but you know who else? I mean, take it apart, look at it. If you want, also reach out to the guys at Real Rollers. I know Lee, Andrew, and Eric. They know a ton about the trimmer and the McLean and the True Cut. And the Swordman. So, I mean, they will also be able to tell you, maybe give you some ideas if after you take a look at it, nothing's obvious, nothing's jumping out at you, reach out to them, give them a call, and they can probably help you out. But yeah, I'm sorry I'm not more help on this one, because I've never actually taken apart a California trimmer to be able to tell you. I can tell you how to do a belt on a Greensmaster, or at least a side one, so I've done those. But yeah, but definitely fix it. Don't leave it in the state that it's in. All right. Troy Ridley says, "Hey Ron, I got a cheetah print design on the grass. It's officially going dormant." Yep, that's a good sign. Last year I was like, "What fungus pests are causing this?" Yeah, and it's nothing. That's normal. I have learned since then. LOL, Central Texas, Bermuda. Yeah, Troy. So yeah, don't worry about it. That's a sign that your lawn is checking out. I don't typically get that. I don't typically get the zebra or the leopard sprint print or the cheetah print thing on my lawn. I don't normally get that. It just slowly all falls away together, or just I've not personally had that on my lawn. So, but yeah, nothing to worry about. No issues there whatsoever. All right, so Arlen Crush is back and says, "Ron, a little help, please. I just bought Lesco 3-way and I only have 2-gallon sprayer. How much do I put in? Thanks." I don't know what's in Lesco 3-way to be able to tell you. I'm guessing it's probably a herbicide of some sort. So what you would do, Arlen, is check the rate, read the label, and see what the label says as far as the rate that you should be using for 1,000 square feet, and then just double that. So with 2 gallons, if you're spraying the way I recommend, which is 1 gallon of product over 1,000 square feet, then you're going to take whatever the rate the label specifies, and you're going to, instead of using the rate for 1,000 square feet, you're going to double that, because it's going to be 2,000 square feet, because you're mixing it with 2 gallons of water, right? So that's the thing you want to be mindful of. So again, I don't know what it is. Let's say the rate is 1 ounce per 1,000 square feet when mixed with a gallon of water. then you would just do 2 ounces with 2 gallons. Again, that is not the rate. Don't take that as what I'm telling you to mix, but check the label and see what it says. Also check the label as far as dilution rates, because some products or most herbicides will list the minimum amount of water that you need to mix with the product when you're putting it down. Most of them will say half a gallon to a gallon of water. Certainty, I'm trying to think if it's either Certainty or Celsius. I think it's Certainty. Certainty is kind of an oddball where I believe the label specifies 2 gallons of water as like the minimum that you should use. So it just depends on what the label says. But just look on there, on that label, it will have a rate for 1,000 square feet. And then you're just going to double that because you're going to be using 2 gallons of the product, assuming you need 2 gallons of it. So if you only need 1 gallon, so if you're doing only spot spraying and 1 gallon is enough, then just use the 1 gallon rate, but the 1,000 square foot rate. So check the label, see what it says, and go by that rate. And make sure, I don't know the Let's Go 3 way to know if it's like a dry product, if it's like a water dispersible granule, or if it's a liquid. But make sure that whenever they list the rate, they will for a water dispersible granule, they'll list the amount in ounces, like by an actual weight. And then as far as the if it's a liquid, they'll often list the amount you need to use in fluid ounces, which is like a volume measurement. So they sound similar, but they're not. One is a volume measurement, one is a measurement of volume, one is a measurement of weight. So just make sure you read the label carefully, and you should be good to go. If you want, send me an email with the product that you're dealing with. Like send me a link here, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Send me an email with the product you're talking about, and I'll check the label and I'll help you out. If what I just explained doesn't make sense or you're still not sure, send me an email. I'll take a look at it and I'll get you some help on figuring it out. So we will get you taken care of. No problems at all. But hopefully that helps as far as my explanation as to how you should be mixing it, or how you can determine what the rate you should be using to mix it. So there you go. All right, next up, we got Mr. Courtney says, I found a great sale on fertilizer in Walmart this week for those worried about fert cost and availability. Yeah, definitely. If there's a fertilizer that you like and Walmart carries it or Home Depot carries it, by all means load up. By all means load up, because I can't say for sure, right? But I would be highly, highly shocked, highly surprised if fertilizer is cheaper next year than it is this year. Because, I mean, every year it's gone up a little bit. And this year, the price of everything has gone up more than just a little bit. So I don't think fertilizer is going to be spared from that next season. So yeah, it's a good tip, Mr. Courtney. I appreciate you letting us know. And yes, and Static Alpha saying, yes, I like every time, even when I don't have time to hang around. I appreciate that, Static Alpha. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, sir. Short on questions tonight. I thought I saw Justin in here earlier. Did I already pass him? Maybe I already passed him, or I'm not sure. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure. I don't see you, Justin. Not sure what where you went to. All right, let's go to our next question or comment. Wind Chariot says, hey Ron, starting the spring, how about featuring a lawn of the week on the stream? Not a contest, just a different lawn pick each week of the fellows that regularly of the live stream. I'm down. I think it's an awesome idea. I will absolutely do that. You guys send me pictures saying, hey, this is like lawn of the week. This is like my lawn, and you're fine with me showing it on the live stream. Then yeah, no problem. Send me a picture of the lawn of your pride and joy, and I will feature it. I'll just let me know, and I will assume that if you send it to me, then you're good with me showing it on the live stream. So just yeah, I'm fine with that. That's actually a pretty good idea. When Cherry also, it's like a way of inspiration too, right? For people that are getting into it and they want to see, hey, this is what a lawn can look like. That's another reason to try that out. So yeah, I'm definitely down with that. By all means, we will make it happen. We will make it happen. All right. He says each one teach one helps the live to be a great source of success. Yep, I agree with you. So yeah, we'll definitely do that. And then Ben Rum says the leaf mulching into the lawn can be a positive strategy. I've never done it, but I will take your word for it. I think like anything, Ben, if you're doing it a little bit, it's probably fine. But if you have if you have tons of trees, like if lots of trees covering your lawn to where you're putting a lot of leaves that you're mulching, a lot of material, I think you can create thatch problems by doing that, right? So like all things, it depends. It depends on how much we're talking about here. Like once or twice, sure, probably okay. But if you're doing it's like every week, like the entire lawn is just leaves, you can't see it, that's probably not a great idea to do that every single time into the lawn. Just my my thoughts on the matter. All right, next up we got Kelby Ruiz. Says, hey buddy, what's going on, Kelby? Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. Appreciate you as always. And then let's see. Winchard is back. He says, hey man, last week I had the service guy come out to fix a thermostat. He stepped on my lawn and he stopped to step down. I gotta start over. He says he stepped on my lawn, then stopped, and then reached down to touch it. I told him that was the greatest compliment, and he's dormant. You're like, hey man, it's not even in its glory, and people are having to stop down and take a look at it. That's pretty awesome. Nothing says an awesome lawn than people having to stop and just poke at it or tap their foot on it to see that if it's fake or not. You're doing something right. You're doing something right, sir. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. And I appreciate you, RLN Crutch. So I'm not new. Been watching for a while, but this is my second time on the live stream. So very cool. Thanks for that. You're very, very welcome, Joel. Hopefully the links and the video are helpful. Let me know if I can help with anything else. And next is Kelby. Kelby says, I'm helping my neighbor with her yard. The yard on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 2. So let me ask you, Kelby, just inquiring minds want to know. So what's the difference between like a 1 and a 2? Is it like a 2, there's hope, and 1 is like bare dirt, or what takes you from a 1 to a 2? But anyway, he says, okay, I applied pre-emergent months ago and had a bunch of clover repair. I used hose insecticide today. Should I reapply pre-emergent? You applied pre-emergent months ago and you're still getting some clover. Yeah, I mean, if you went light on the rate, light on the rate, and you want to do another app, then yes, assuming you didn't exceed whatever your annual limit is for whatever pre-emergent you went with. So if you did like a light application of prodiamine, or you did like prodiamine via granular, and you didn't use full rate, and you want to go again, then sure. You didn't say what kind of grass you have, but if you have warm season grass, like say you've got like Bermuda, I might lean towards doing coastal, man. I might go for that instead of just doing straight prodiamine, because that's going to, yes, the prodiamine will prevent new weeds from emerging, but the post-emergent herbicides that are in coastal will also help knock back some cool season weeds that are already in her lawn. So that is what I would bias towards or lean towards if you, again, assuming she has warm season grass. So there's already links in the description for coastal, but if not, I will give it to you anyway. So at Kelby Ruiz, there you go. So coastal. And good job, man. Good job on helping your neighbor with her yard. Turning that 2, we're going to turn that lawn from a 2 to a 10. That's going to be your goal, right? Get weeds under control is thing 1, and then depending on who's going to be mowing it, unless you're going to be mowing it for her, as long as she's going to get out there and mow, going from a 2 to a 10 is definitely doable within a season. It can be done. I've seen it done. I've seen it done in 3 months. So definitely possible. Andrew Buck is saying, thank you for everything you do. Very informative. You're very, very welcome, Andrew. Thank you for hanging out in the live stream. I appreciate it. Oh boy, here we go. Guys, listen, you guys already won. You already won. I've already said that they are the winners, that they did well. But we'll read it anyway because, whatever. I let them won. It says, Zoysia tied Bermuda Bulldog. Told you so. You did tell me so. You did say so. But I believe Bermuda will get revenge on Zoysia for this championship just in time for January pre-emergent for both. Hello, Ron Henry. What's going on, wise guy? You're absolutely right. I will acknowledge that you guys dominated. You guys, Alabama came in. They were the better team that night. Georgia was better on paper, but obviously being better on paper doesn't really matter when it comes to winning. So congrats on the win. Hopefully we get you guys next time. We'll see. Mess up a perfect season, right? But we'll see. Congrats. All right. Next up, Lindrick is in the house. He says, thanks, Ron. I will encourage my neighbor to follow your recommendations and the advice you gave Robert Rainey on order of applications. But first, a soil test in December, January. It's a great idea, Lindrick. I appreciate the support. And yeah, definitely definitely let me know. I think that that's going to be a good strategy. Getting the weeds under control is thing one, and pre-emergent is a big part of that, right? Like it's way easier just to prevent weeds in the first place than have to go out and treat them after the fact. It's more of a hassle, and it's a lot more expensive to treat weeds after they're around versus taking care of them prior to them growing in. So yeah, I appreciate that a ton. All right, next up, we got a question here from Chris Condry. He says, what are your thoughts on lawn paint for Bermuda grass? It's not my thing. It's not my thing. Some people do it and they like it and they like the way it looks. Here's the reason why. Because it looks fake. It does not look like real grass. I've never seen a lawn that's been painted that looks like real grass. And perhaps it's just people didn't know what they were doing and there's a way to do it and it actually will look good. But I've never seen it done or executed very well, so I'm not a huge fan of it. To me, if you really, really want your lawn to look green over winter months, that's when overseeding it becomes a thing. That's when doing like a perennial rye overseed in September is an option for that. It's going to look better than painting Bermuda, So I just not my thing, but to each his own. To each his own. Some people like it and they want to go for that, and that's their thing. So it just depends on the person. All right. I'm not sure if we got. Yeah. Next up, we got a super chat here from Ben Raham. I appreciate you, Ben.
Super chat received.
Says is the lingering green in your lawn from the Arden 15 overseed or another reason for seeming to be area specific? So yeah, the areas that are green are the areas that Arden 15 took better. It grew in really nicely in those areas. So there is that, but it's also the areas that are closer to the house and closer to the patio. So there's just getting more heat. Those areas are just doing well. So, for example, let me think. There's also a couple of areas in the back, like towards the back part of the lawn, there where the rocks are, that the Arden 15 took really well, and that's dormant. So it's likely more a factor of just the warmer temps, than the actual grass type, if it makes sense. So it's definitely, in other words, whereas last year, if you guys saw that series that I did comparing Tifway 419 to Arden 15, where there was a noticeable difference, like a huge fall off between when the Tifway said out and the Arden 15 hung on for a lot longer. This year, that wasn't the case. Like for the most part, the lawn fell off, altogether, which is a good thing. That shows that the Arden is like my mutt lawn is really a mutt lawn. It's kind of the Tifway and the Arden are blended in fairly nicely. So, and it should only get better over time. Great question, Ben. All right, David Polanco is in the house. He says, I'm here. They're the best part of my Fridays. Hey, Ron, howdy chat. Thanks for coming to hang out, David. I am glad that, that makes your Friday better. And thank you for hanging out in the live stream. You are, you're someone that's constantly around, and I appreciate the consistency and the support. All right, next up, Fernie C is in the house. It says, hey, Ron, the man with a dormant lawn. Hope all is well, bud. I am doing well, can't complain. Haven't been able to make your live streams in a good minute. Still mowing and turbocharging here in San Antonio, Texas. You're still mowing in San Antonio? Wow, that's cool. That's very, very cool. I guess I would have thought that you guys would have put your mow away by now, but maybe it's still fairly warm. I haven't looked at the temps in San Antonio to know, but yeah. Cool deal, man. Thanks for coming to hang out in a live stream. I appreciate you. All right, let's see. Thin Cut says, I put down a whole bag of Magical on my yard. Magical Plus on my yard. The front yard is approximately 2,300 square feet. pH is 4.96 on average. How much will that raise pH and how often can I apply lime? Okay, so if your pH is 4.96, the Magical is gonna help. It's better than doing nothing, but I would get a heavier lime app down. So Thin Cut, depending on, get a soil test done. I'm not sure if you've done that as yet, but if you get a soil test done, look at your magnesium levels. If your magnesium levels are low, then you're gonna wanna choose dolomitic lime. If they are in a decent shape or they're high, then calcitic lime. And I would go with an application rate on the heavy side. So you're going to want to lean more towards that 40 pounds per 1,000 square foot rate. So in your case, you got, 2,300 square feet. That's going to be like 2 bags, right? 2 bags, two bags and change, right? So you like 2 bags of dolomitic or calcitic lime. That will do a lot. Make sure you water it in and that will help. You can do Magical. It does work. It is a way to help raise pH, but it's not. I mean, but it's given that you're at 5. That's on the low side, man. That's pretty acidic. I'd want to take a little bit more drastic measure and go like a full lime application at like 40 pounds per thousand. So if you got like some kind of a place nearby where you can get lime in bulk, then I would do that to improve to move that pH up. It's going to take a whole lot of Magical to do that. Given where you are. So just something to keep in mind. Great question. He said, FYI, Ron, I cut the rib roast meat cutter for Publix. Okay, cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's nice. So you got the, so that's why you're biased towards Publix lemonade so much. Okay, so yeah, so you're a meat cutter for Publix. So you can get all the really good cuts of meat then, right? Nice. Very, very cool. All right. Let's see. Next up, Stuart Ty says, hey, Ron, I live near your area. Do you know if Reel Rollers grinds reels? I have a California trimmer, and backlapping is not going to cut it anymore. My reels are very dull. Reel Rollers themselves don't grind reels, but there's another company around here called Reel Works, because they're similar names. So Reel Rollers are the mowers manufacturer, or the mowers, they sell mowers and mower equipment and mower parts. And then Reel Works is the company that does like mower service and will do grind reels and all this kind of stuff. So look up Reel Works. I forget. I think they're in Auburn. I forget what part. They're not that far from here. So yeah, look them up, and they should be able to get you taken care of as far as grinding your reel on your California trimmer. They can take care of your reel. If you take it to Reel Rollers, they're just going to send it out to Reel Works anyway. So just call Reel Works, and they will get you taken care of. Great stuff. All right, next up we got Static Alpha. He says, I'll be honest, I don't know much about greens mower, but my lawn is very small, about 2,000 square feet. There's an 18-inch, not as heavy greens mower you'd recommend. Is it still worth the upgrade over the Cali? Yeah, so for an 18-inch, I want to say the Greensmaster 800. I'm not sure if I still have any pictures of that Jerry Pate sent me. Oh, yep, I do. Yep, here. Yeah, so I want to say that the GM 800 is an 18-inch width of cut. So they look like, if I can show it here, they look like that. So that is the 800. It's a little bit narrower. That's a smaller one that'll work well on a smaller lawn. I highly doubt that Jerry Pate still has those in stock. But call them up, Static Alpha, and say, hey, I'm looking for like an 18-inch width cut, and just say the 800 is an option. See what they might have and what they may have taken off a lease, and they can then get you taken care of. And yeah, it is worth it. It's even for 2,000 square feet, it's worth it. All that means is that you've got less passes to make, and an 800, in my opinion, would be a great fit. Like an 18-inch mower would be a great fit for a lawn that size. So yeah, absolutely worth it. And it's a whole nother level compared to the California trimmer. Trimmers is a good mower. People get great results with them, but you can't compare the cut from like a True Cut or a McLean, or actually I would put True Cut above those too, but you can't compare the cut of a McLean or California trimmer to a greens mower. It's like an entirely different ball game as far as like quality of cut that you're going to get. So something to consider. Give Jerry Pate a call and ask for Joey. Tell him I sent you. He'll probably charge you triple for that. But they will get you. They'll get you taken care of if they have anything in stock. So, great question. All right, Mr. Courtney says, I found fertilizer in pallets at Walmart parking lot, 24 bags for under $8 per bag. Thank you for all you put into this channel. Enjoying it. That's a great tip, man. So if anyone is looking for fertilizer, if your local Wally World has some, or your local Home Depot has some, you can load it up, especially if you have a product that you like, a particular type that you like, and they carry it. Why not? Makes a lot of sense. You might as well, man. You might as well. Makes a ton of sense to do that. We are winding down on questions, guys. You guys are taking pity on me. I'm gonna be able to get away from the live stream and get to my bourbon here sooner than I might have expected. We'll see. A couple more questions here. Gary Kellett Jr. is up in the house. He says, happy Friday, Ron. I'm trying to get over the fear of liquid fertilizer or weed control. All right, we can get through this. We can get through this, Gary. We can do this. He says, I've been putting down granular and I really want to start using liquid. What are your thoughts on how to start off? Okay, So here's how you get good at liquid applications, and I cover this in my course. I have an entire section on on sprayers and how to spray and not like nuke your lawn in the process. But just for you, we'll cover it now. So the big thing with liquids is you want to ensure that you are applying the product at the correct rate. So in most cases, that means a gallon of product mixture over 1,000 square feet. You can go more concentrated than that, but for people that are just starting out, or you just want to have like a margin of safety, 1 gallon of product over 1,000 square feet is the way to go. So how do you figure out what that is? One is by calibrating your sprayer, right? To know how long it takes your sprayer to put out 1 gallon of products. That gives you an approximate time frame of how fast you need to walk to be able to put out 1 gallon of product over 1,000 square feet. But and so once you do that, once you've calibrated your sprayer, and I've got a video on how to do that. And again, it sounds complicated, but I promise you, it's really not. It's not. It's like really basic division. And here's the thing: if you want to do it the easy way, get like a gallon. So I can be sure to grab it. You can just get a gallon container and spray in it for 1 minute and measure it. I don't like to do that because it's really hard to know when you've stopped exactly a gallon. In my video that I will link here in a second, I showed you how to do the calculation, how to do the math. It's really simple math on how to calibrate your sprayer. Let me see, get shareable link and send it to @Gary. There we go, @Gary. Sprayer calibration. So once you do this, right, once you follow the steps in that video, which are super easy to follow, and you have your number, right? And let's say the number is 1.5 minutes. It's 90 seconds for you to walk 1,000 square feet, or it's 90 seconds for your sprayer to put out 1 gallon of product, right? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a measuring tape and we're going to measure off a 20 by 50 foot section. That's 1,000 square feet. And then you're going to say, okay, so all I'm going to do now is just put only water in the sprayer. And I'm going to practice this. I'm going to get my stopwatch out. I'm going to walk and I'm going to say, okay, when I time I'm at my passes and I get to the very end and I get to the end of the 1,000 square foot section, do I get close to my time within 5-6 seconds of the time that it takes my sprayer to put out 1,000 square feet or to put out a gallon of product? And that once you can do that, you do that a couple of times, you get a feel for what kind of walking pace you need to have, then you're good to go. Then all that's left to do at that point is just to follow the labels, follow the mixing instructions, right? So in the case of like a product like Turfplex, like a liquid fert like Turfplex, which is like one that I really like and enjoy. A good example, this particular liquid fert, like the rate that I use for it, has an application rate of 6 ounces over 1,000 square feet. That's going to apply it. That's going to put down a 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen. So very, very light rate, right? So let's say, for example, you have like a 2,000 square foot lawn, right? And you have a 2-gallon backpack sprayer. Well, that means you're going to put 2 gallons of water in the sprayer. Remember, we're doing 6 ounces of this per 1,000 square feet. We're going to put, so 6 times 2 is 12. We're going to put 12 ounces of Turfplex in with that. We're going to mix it up really, really, really well. And then, because now you're already a pro at walking, you're already a pro at like spraying and getting your walking pace pretty good to where you cover 1,000 square feet in the time it takes your sprayer to put out 1 gallon of product, you're good to go. You're good to go. And that's all there is to it. And it's something that you'll develop over time. The more you do it, the easier it is. But really, the core thing, the thing that you got to do that's going to prevent you from having a bad result is take the time to calibrate your sprayer. You don't have to do it once. It only takes a couple of minutes to do. It's really easy. And then practice with just water in the sprayer, walking 1,000 square feet to feel what that feels like with your sprayer. And then you're good to go. Just mix the product according to the instructions and go to town. It's really not that hard. And you're gonna like it because it's really cool to have a program where you're blending granular to do like the heavy lifting and a bit of a liquid fert, like at a lighter rate, to kind of maintain that green color throughout the course of the month. It's like a hybrid approach is really, really good. It's not as hard as you might think. Again, I've got content on it. And again, if you want even more detailed instruction, I've got the Golf Course Lawn Academy, golfcourselawn.com. There's an entire section that talks about that and some other tips as far as getting the most out of your backpack sprayer. So yeah, I would just go for it, man. I gave you like a short answer there, but that hopefully gets you on the right track. And if you need more, again, you can sign up for the course, which also gets you access to the Facebook group. Or you can just, and that should put you on the right track. So hopefully that helps take away some of the fear of using liquid products. It's really not that bad. Not as bad as you might think. All right. Next up, Ben is here with a question. He says, "Is it hard or impossible to help a neighbor grow seed when they applied a bunch of big box pre-emergent to kill weeds first?" Yes, it is harder. It's not impossible, but it is much harder to grow seed when you put pre-emergent down. It just is. And really, for most people, growing grass from seed, it's not the pre-emergent that does it. It's the fact that most people just don't water enough consistently to get the seed to germinate. So yes, to answer your question, yes. If you put down pre-emergent, then seeding is not really in the cards for you within 3 to 4 months after doing that. So there you go. All right, next up, 2 shots of Baca is in the house. He's just popping in to say hi. Lawn is still green here in Central Texas with this 80-degree. How is it still 80 degrees in Texas? Good grief, man! Wow, 80-degree weather we're having all December. Not here in Georgia. Yeah, so that explains it. That explains why your lawn is still green and looking good and having to mow. That's pretty awesome, man. Thanks for coming to chime in. 2 shots. And then Robert, and he says, "I sent you our dinner content this evening. Good to share." Where is Robert? Do I have an email from you, Robert? I don't see it. Let's see. What's he doing to me? Oh man, you sent it in like the Apple format, so I have to convert it. You're making life hard for me, man. Making life hard for me. But yeah, let me see if I can make this work really quick. But next up we got, while I figure that out, let's see what our next question is. Static Alpha says, "I grind my reel with a Dremel attachment and it works great." I mean, it works, but I mean, you getting it professionally ground is going to get a better result overall and not take too much material off the reel and or bed knife if you decide to go that route. So yes, that can work, but getting it professionally ground is gonna, like I said, you can take less material off, and you're gonna get overall a more consistent result. So, but thanks for sharing that, Static Alpha. Sounds like you are a man that takes care of his stuff himself, which is really cool. And let me see if I can make this this happen. Robert is showing his dinner. It's pretty cool. This is pretty funny. You're gonna get in trouble, man. Hopefully your wife is not mad or whatever because you're watching me while you're also at dinner. But you see there, he's got it looks like some kind of pasta dish, some cheese on the top, and he's got his camera up, and he's got got the live stream there in the on the phone. So I appreciate that, Robert. That's pretty cool. Very, very cool. So like dinner and a live stream. So not dinner and a movie, dinner and a live stream. So very cool. Thanks for that, man. I appreciate it. All right, and then Ben Ram is saying, "Love Reel Rollers and Reel Works, but don't forget Peachtree Mower for service or new mower in the ATO area." So there you go. Peachtree Mowers is someone else. I've never worked with them. I'm sure they're probably fine because they've been in business for a while. The companies or people that are just not nice tend to not stay in business for a long period of time. So yeah, I have not met the guys or gals at Peachtree Mower, but I've heard things about them. So yeah, that's another option in the Atlanta area. That's one thing in Atlanta, in Northeast Georgia. It really is. I won't say it's like a mecca for reel mowing, but it's like you have tons of options as far as finding equipment, and then as far as finding people to work on it, it's really easy. At least if you have a True Cut or a Toro. I don't know if there's a John Deere dealer in the area or someone that does service. There probably is, but I don't get that many questions from people that have John Deeres to know. But yeah, Atlanta, if you're definitely in the right part of the country, if you are looking to reel mow and get your stuff taken care of. All right, next up we have Ben Raham. He says, "The difference in between the Walmart, Home Depot products and the prosumer enthusiast stuff Ron graciously gives us access to is a real deal. Doing what you can is an awesome first step, but the good stuff makes a difference." It does. I mean, you look at it, the good stuff, like the fertilizer from Lebanon, the insecticides and fungicides from Syngenta, the carbon products from Miramichi Green, like they're really all professional grade like products. They're designed for the professional turf care industry. And when you use them on your lawn, you see the difference. You see the results that you get with them. There is a difference. Like when I did the videos this year on Acelyprin and Headway G, and people were saying, well, I can go to Home Depot and I can get products that have the same active ingredient. I'm like, yeah, you can, but it's got a third the amount of active ingredient. The carriers may or may not are likely not the same as what's in the Syngenta products, and like the proof's in the pudding. Like I did one application of acelepryn in like March, and I didn't have any problems with armyworms in my lawn. Same thing with Alex. Same thing. No problems with armyworms or anything. When all the lawns around here were getting eaten up, neither of our lawns had any issues with that stuff. So the stuff is more expensive, but it is, but it isn't. It seems more expensive up front, but then you don't have the hassle of dealing with problems that other people deal with whenever, if you try and cut corners or just don't do anything at all. So I appreciate that, Ben. It is kind of hard to help people make that connection, but I think it's slowly starting to come around. So great. I appreciate that observation. I appreciate you sharing that. All right. But Dwayne says, what are the side effects on Bermuda if you apply too much prodiamine? Meaning if you apply the 1 year rate every 6 months, you probably get with some root clubbing. What will show up as is when the runners, the stolons they're running across the lawn, when they're creeping across the lawn, you'll find they'll have harder time tacking down. That's a telltale sign. That's something you can look for to see that you've went too heavy on your prodiamine app. But I just wouldn't do it. Like I would not do double the rate. Like the manufacturer specifies the rate they specify for a reason. I would not do that. I mean, are you likely to kill the Bermuda? No, you're unlikely to do that. But it's just not recommended, and you are working against yourself because the ability for the Bermuda to run and tack down and just spread, like going too heavy with pre-emergent is going to set that back. It's just not going to work as well. So I wouldn't do that. Likely not going to kill the grass, but just not something that I would recommend doing at all. All right, next up we got Eric Cortez says, hey Ron, happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, Eric. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And then Robert is sharing what he's having. He says, I am having, what is it? Southwest beef cavatappi. I don't know what cavatappi is. Here's the thing. This is the first time in my life I can honestly say I've ever said the word cavatappi. I don't even know what it is, but it looks tasty. Whatever it looks quite the business, man. It looks good. It looks good. I have to look it up after I get off the live stream. What is cavatappi? But yeah, thanks for the support watching even during dinner, Robert. So I appreciate you. And then Fernie sees, where's the lemonade? Since you're not able to mow during the lemonade, what will you be cooking? Where's the lemonade? The lemonade is right here. It's right here. See, the official live stream cup. I'll have a sip of lemonade just for you, Fernie. See? It's right there. Lemonade is here. It says, since you're not going to be able to mow during the holidays, what will you be cooking? I don't know. I mean, there's not really grilling season. I just tend to eat out a lot. Like I tend to go to I have ramen because I love ramen. Love ramen. So there's a couple of ramen places here in the area that I like to go. Well, not really a couple. There's one that I really like to go to. There's a couple in the area. There's only one that I really like. And so I'll eat a lot of that. I like Korean barbecue, so I'll go eat that. And so that's really my go-to thing to do. But ramen is my go-to dish. As far as like my thing that if I had something I could eat a couple times a week and not get tired of it, it would be ramen. Like whenever I went to Tokyo in 2019, it was like it was like going from ramen, like literally was like trying to find all the good ramen houses and just go eat ramen. That was my thing. So it sounds like it's really basic, but I can assure you, like good ramen is not like the stuff that you get that comes in the cups that you get like at Publix or Kroger or whatever. Like it's actually it is an art form to make something very inexpensive taste that good. So really like it. So that's my thing. And then as far as other stuff, I don't know. Nothing else really planned for NEC. Nothing else really planned. All right. Next we have Lance F. He says, I finally did my soil test on Sunday and sent it off. Can't wait to see the results. Funny story. 2 young teenagers walked by not too long ago and asked me if my KBG was fake. That's awesome, man. That's nothing says you're doing it right with grass than people asking you if your lawn is fake, right? There's no greater compliment than that, especially teenagers, right? Because teenagers typically don't really care about grass that much. So if they're noticing it, you're definitely doing it right. So that's pretty awesome. Poppy G says, can we treat armyworms in December? Don't know. I'm not sure on that. I've not seen armyworms really being an issue in December. I would check the label. What I can do is that's a good question. I can take that as a question to bounce off of the folks in Gent. I'll ask them. I've not seen armyworms be a problem really this time of year, Poppy G. So not sure. Let's see. Let me just make a note here. Armyworms, December. Yeah, you're the first person I've seen that's asked that question or even mentioned having an issue with armyworms this time of year. But I will ask and I will get an answer for you. Something maybe to talk about next week. Good question. All right, next up we got Masama Blue. He says, "Happy Friday, Ron. Have more. How are the moles and voles still messing with you this time of year, man? Wow." They're tearing it up. I'm gonna try to catch another weekend this weekend, looking for movement on zopping them out with a shovel. Any recommendations for a good trap? Not really. I mean, I've got some stuff for poison. There's like a mole poison called Talprid. I think they make it. Let me see here. Mole. Let me look here. I think I've got it here. Mole cricket. I think it's called Talprid. Yeah, mole poison. That will knock them out. That works well. It looks like little grubs. So you can try that and see what you get. But I'm surprised they're still messing with you this time of year, man. This seems like kind of late in the season to still be dealing with grubs and or mole issues. But yeah, give that a shot. As far as traps, don't really have any. All I have is like stuff to permanently get rid of them, not any way to kind of to trap them. So hopefully that helps. Try it out. Let me know. Other viewers have tried that product and they've had good results with it. So let me know how it does for you. All right. Ben Raham is here with a super chat again. Thanks for that so much, Ben. Appreciate you.
Super chat received.
He says, thanks, Ron, for welcoming newcomers and supporting vets in one live stream. You rock. Happy New Year. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, you get me people feel welcome. I mean, here's the thing. If I have a live stream and people come in here and you make someone, it's a big deal. One, someone's taking time out of their Friday night to come talk about grass, right? And, if you want to create an atmosphere where people are wanting to ask questions and not feeling like they're going to be made fun of or anything. Even because a question that seems simple to like people here that have a lot of experience, maybe not so simple to someone that is new to it. So what am I going to do? You're going to make fun of them and be like, oh, it's a dumb question, or try and give an answer that's way above their head and run them off. And then who does that help? They don't want to work on their lawn anymore, and then they're not going to come watch the live stream anymore. And they probably come across thinking that I'm a jerk, right? So there's no real reason to do that. It's good rules to live by in life. Like try your best not to be a jerk to people as much as it depends on you. Try not to be a jerk. It's good advice. All right, next up we have a super chat from Lance F. Appreciate that,
Super
Lance.
chat received.
Thanks for the love and support. I'm not sure if I already did it already, but you got it again. And then Ben Ram says, half my lemonade tastes like bourbon. Yeah, man. Yeah, I am gonna. I've got a good one up here that I'm gonna be sipping on here in a little bit. So I am looking forward to getting to that here in a little bit. All right, Robert Rainey says, one last thing. Anyone seeing worm castings yet? I am not. I had some in like the latter part of the growing season, like August-ish time frame, but none like right now. I'm not seeing any right now, Robert. So I would not worry about it, though. I promise you, it's not a bad thing. Don't sweat it. Don't go out there and try and find ways to eliminate the earthworms. It's a good thing. It's a good sign. Well, guys, I think that's it. I think I've about talked you guys out. Yeah, I think we are all talked out as far as the live stream goes. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out and talk about lawn care. I realize we're getting close to Christmas, so if anyone has not done your Christmas shopping, get out and get that done. If you guys aren't on the live stream next week, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy whatever you claim and happen to celebrate. And I really appreciate you. Again, thank you guys so much for all the love and support over this year. It really means a ton. And, I'm really looking forward to seeing what 2022 brings. I'm going to see what else I can do in addition to hats next year or next week as far as giveaway. We'll see. And, make it fun. Make it fun for, perhaps the last live stream of the year. I think I'm thinking if there's any more questions here, or any more comments. Donnell is just saying, hey there for the Golf Course Lawn Academy. Happy holidays. I removed a tree from the front yard. Some Bermudas growing in. Still have some bare spots. Do you think the Bermuda will fill in well this spring? I think it'll fill in over the summer, like late spring, early summer. That's when it's growing aggressively, Donnell. That's when you're likely to get that growth, right? This early spring, it's not really hulking out until, it's early spring is coming out of dormancy. June, July, that's when Bermuda is going to really, that's when you should see it fill in and really, really do well. So yeah, just keep the faith, hold on. It will recover. You have the right grass type for filling in bare spots with Bermuda. And then I guess our last comment of the evening from Thomas, he says, do you believe a lawn leveling rake will work well if I only have a rotary mower, can get to 1 inch height of cut only. Yeah, absolutely. There's people that level their lawn with when they cut it lower as preparation for leveling, they only go down to 1 inch. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, a leveling rake will work fine at 1 inch. There's no issue with that at all. So yeah, if you're cutting at 1 inch, if you can get to 1 inch, maybe a little bit lower whenever you're scalping, perhaps before you do your leveling work, it'll be just fine. No problems at all. The nice thing about being at 1 inch too, Thomas, is that it's going to hold on to the material a little bit better. So if you have any sloped areas of your lawn, you're a lot less likely to have runoff issues by having a little bit taller than people that are below 1/2 inch. Like if you're below 1/2 inch, you really got to be careful how much top dressing you put down, because a heavy rain will move it all over the place. But in your case, where you have like slightly taller, it's going to stay in place much better. So that's very, very good stuff. All right. And then finally, to close us out, LC Sullivan says, thanks, Ron. People, don't forget to hit the like button. That's a great way to end the channel. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Definitely touch the like button on your way out. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel, consider doing so. I try to make content that I think is valuable, that is going to help you guys improve your lawns. Also, be sure to check out the Golf Course Lawn Store for all your golf course lawn needs: fertilizer, pre-emergent, pesticides, and insecticides. We got a little bit of everything there to help you out. And of course, always the Golf Course Lawn Academy, which is the course that I put together that helps you go from, in some cases, take your lawn from a 2 to a 10 in the most direct and shortest time period possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly do appreciate all the love and support.